Hello and welcome to the Rusted Brush. Today I'm here with Wargame Dan. Here again, we're doing a tier list, this time for 7th-8th edition Warhammer Fantasy stuff. This will also include the end times models like Nagash and stuff. Why don't you introduce yourself, Dan?
Hey man, thanks for having me back. I'm host of the We Wargame channel. We ironically mostly do non-games workshop multi-part plastic reviews. But as we said in the first tier list that we did for 6th edition, I got my start with Games Workshop. I was a huge fan of their plastics all throughout this period of time. So excited to come back and talk about it again with you.
Yeah, awesome. This one's going to be a bit longer than the last one for sure. We've got
Yeah,
134 models to cover here. I added
my goodness.
two more tiers here because I think we need them. So we have like best S for better than anything equivalent nowadays, A for excellent models that still hold up, B for good models but better alternatives, C for okay models, D for flawed models that still sort of work with some effort, E for mediocre to bad for their era with some bits that are probably usable or kind of not make it F tier basically, and F tier is just straight up garbage basically.
Mm.
And I've got them alphabetically ordered by faction and stuff here. So we're gonna start with Beastmen here. We're just gonna get into it. We're gonna start with the Bestigors. I thought this kit was kind of neat. Um, I don't I don't think I've ever had actually more than like one sprue of this kit, but I've taken a good look at it. Some good detail here, but it kind of does a weird thing where the body's not fully separated, like the legs and torso aren't separate and stuff. What do you think of this one?
I like the design of this one. One thing I really like about I think this was 7th edition, maybe late 7th edition Beastmen, is that the aesthetic still matches the 6th edition Beastmen.
Hmm.
That, the combo gore ungore box that we talked about in our last video. That if you put these, two models side by side, they still kind of work. Whereas what we're going to find, my criticisms of a lot of like, especially 8th edition sculpts, is that they're just total departures from what they had been doing in previous editions. So I like that about it. I never like dealt with this kit very much though. So like some of the, as you say, the intricacies about like assembly, I can't speak to very much, but I like the design.
Yeah, the weapons are nice, and like you said, they do mix well with like the older Beastmen kits. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this must have been, I think this was early 7th edition, to be honest. I could be wrong,
Sure.
but I know for sure this was an 8th edition because I don't think they ever had an 8th edition book, or even, did they even have a 7th edition? No, they did have a 7th edition book, so it must have been around that time.
Yeah, I'll stop talking about time. Time has become so relative for me anyway. It's
That's
really
fair,
hard for me to.
actually.
It's like all 7th edition through end times is like one blob in my mind. So
Yeah,
I won't guess at it.
for sure. I mean, like, I completely forgot, like, how long ago some of these models came out, and it kind of scares me how old I feel now.
Mm.
So, yeah. I mean, I think this is an okay kit. I think there's some really cool bits in it, and the axes are nice. I would say B.
Yeah, I'd say B. The only thing that's kind of tripping me up with our tier list here is that, like, I guess I won't like be holding fast to better alternatives, for example, because Beastmen are one curious thing where
There's no
there's really
alternative.
not any
Yeah.
alternatives. Yeah,
I could put it in A, because I guess, you know what, they still do hold up, and they are, like,
I think so.
yeah, maybe you're right about that. Yeah, that's fair. Um, yeah, I'm okay with that. Like, there's so many good bits with this, and like, yeah, they're pretty good. Um, next one is the Gorgon kit. Opening thoughts for me is I don't like how this thing looks, but what do you think?
Yeah, it's like a worse version of the Giant for me, like the 7th edition plastic Giant, which I'm sure we're going to get to. I like the pose is very similar. I like the accessory bits that came with the Giant. That was the only issue I had with the Gorgon kit is that, especially in this period of time where like having two or even three in a list was common, so you would see like three models in a list,
Hmm.
and they were basically the exact same model on the table. There was minimal modularity. But once again, like the design, I didn't have a problem with. It was mostly just kind of like once you start having multiple of them in an army. They're less imposing, or a little samey looking, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, because this is the time of when we see model kits making two different units, like especially the monsters. So the Gorgon kit makes the Cygor as well, I believe.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
I think the Cygor looks better, but for a big monster, I'm not that impressed with either one too much. And like you said, like the giant has a lot more cooler bits and accessories and details. This is just like a big giant mutated minotaur essentially. Doesn't really do anything for me. Uh,
Yeah, I think that's you're actually speaking to part of the problem. This is going to be one of my criticisms of a lot of later period kits is because they're trying to do too much. They're trying to cover two separate sets. You essentially, like if you're building it as a Cygor, you got a bunch of Gorgon bits that you're not going to use, right? So it's just taking up space. Whereas the giant kit, because it's just making a giant, all of the sprues are variant accessories for your giant. Whereas if this was like just a Cygor kit, all of it could be variant accessories for a Cygor,
yeah, for
right? But
sure.
instead, you got like one build for each.
Yeah, and the pose is very just static.
Hmm.
And for both of them, you can just tell them that they're the same kit. I would sell. I would say even like E or D. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say D is probably where I would throw this because again, like there's something about the Beastman design that I do kind of like, but there's just some, and you're gonna have to check me in the way that like it was the opposite problem with sixth edition where we had some kits that are I think objectively bad that I really liked.
Yeah.
It's the opposite problem here where I think there are some good kits here, but I just have like a bias against them, especially as we start nearing the end times.
Oh,
So
100%.
that check me a little bit.
All right. Well, the next one I actually thought was okay. For a lot of reasons. It's the Minotaurs. I really like the Minotaur kit. My big problem is how hunched they kind of look. But outside of that, I like their weapons. You get a lot of bits with this kit. Um, but their faces look kind of weird. Not exactly the best Minotaurs. I think you could probably find some alternatives nowadays for even just their bull heads to replace them. But what do you think?
Yeah, they're very bulky, right? And actually, my biggest problem with them is their feet, right? Because they're not hooved feet; they have like feet.
Oh,
Like,
really?
I
I
don't
don't
know if
think
you,
I noticed that.
yeah, if you, and it's the kind of thing where like once somebody points it out to you, you can't see it, and that was how it was for me, where I thought they were okay sculpts. As you said, they're very hunched over and static looking, and this is also a period where their plastic kits started looking very different from the metals they were replacing.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's another issue here is again it's my own bias that I have the old metal sculpts in mind and then they come out with a plastic kit that just looks totally different and there's something like off about it, right, just inherently. So yeah,
Yeah,
this for me is yeah.
you're making some good points. I didn't even look at their feet, so that makes it even worse, actually.
Yeah,
Um,
once you see it, I've seen some cool conversions where people like sculpt hooves on and I think it does improve them, but they are just damn, they're top heavy, right? They're just bulky. Like
yeah.
can't scratch their own back kind of thing, right?
Is this going to be a D again, or do you think it's a C?
Um, what do we say with C? Okay models, but
Clearly
clearly older
older.
sculpt.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah, we can call them C,
like, I don't
just to
know if
spread the
there's,
wealth a little bit.
again, I don't know how many good alternatives for Beastmen in general, even Minotaurs. Like, I bet there are
Hmm.
probably some plastic Minotaurs out there, but I can't think off the top of my head.
There aren't, in fact, not yet anyway. I'm curious because North Star is releasing a line of plastic miniatures in 2026 for the Warriors of Athena game
Yeah, I
that's
saw.
being produced. Yeah, so they just did a little sneak peek of some like some centaurs. But I'm told there's going to be a slew of plastic kits.
I mean,
So we'll stay tuned.
there should be Minotaurs if you're doing Greek fantasy mythology and stuff like that.
I that would be if they were asking for my advice, I would certainly have them on my short list. Yeah.
All right. And that was it for Beastmen. Only three kits, I'm pretty sure, came out.
Yeah, because we had the core Gore Ungor kit from sixth edition, and then basically everything else is metal, right,
and
or resin.
it just wasn't loved at all, really, by Games Workshop.
Mm-mm.
And then next is Dark Elf, which got a pretty big lineup, I would say. And our first model is going to be the Black Ark Remaster. This is like their single, like very little part plastic kits where they came out with these a bunch of heroes like this, and they're replacing mostly metal single models. Yeah, so we're going to see a bunch of like these single, like 3 parts, maybe 5 part kits like this.
Mm.
And I don't remember this one very well, to be honest. Uh, I wasn't a big fan of like the pirate corsair kind of theme, the dark elves, but that was just my taste. Uh,
I actually, this is the seventh edition Dark Elf release was interesting because I think this was also the last book that Gav Thorpe wrote before he left Games Workshop. So this was a very interesting time for Games Workshop. And actually, I remember it having like a lot more plastic releases than other Army releases at the time. So like that's why this release does stand out in my mind, just because of the sheer volume of plastic that they put out. The Corsairs were interesting because the rest of the Dark Elf range is really, really static. And we can talk about those kits like when we get to them. Other than the Cold One Knights, the Raptors, I think are excellent. But the Corsairs was the one kit that had like movement to it.
yeah,
Um, and the only issue is that because all the cloaks are flowing in the same way, they look. I don't want to say they look silly when you got like a unit of 40 of them ranked up, but the other issue, I think you alluded to it, is that the metal sculpts they were replacing were so good. Like some of the best Dark Elf sculpts
yeah,
were
the
those old
dark elf
metal
heroes.
Corsairs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of like most of the metal dark elf heroes, basically that are metal. Um, and I don't even play dark elves, but I thought they were really cool.
yeah.
But like looking at this guy again, I think he's kind of okay. He's nothing super special. You can tell he's kind of a hero, but like, eh. He's just not
Yeah.
as cool as like the metal ones, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I would say C tier. I don't know.
Yeah, sure, Jordan C. This is just the hero, right? Not
Yeah,
the
it's the Fleet Master. Like
Yeah.
he's got
Yeah.
barely any parts to him. He's pretty static looking. And
That's a lot of these plastic kits. I know we talked about this in the lead up to doing this video, like whether or not we should even include these. I think we should just for the sake of completedness, but that's the main problem with these plastic sets. Unlike some of the multi-part plastic sets, which are cool because of the option,
yeah,
these push fit ones are like, why are these plastic?
yeah,
Right? Like,
exactly. Um, Next up, we've got the bleak swords, the dark shards, and the tread spears. Crossbows, swords, and spears makes the same infantry kit. I thought
hmm
this one, it's static, kind of like the Chaos Warrior kit, but I did
Yeah.
like how many options you get from it. It is a nice feature, and I think they do look better, in my opinion, at least, than the older Dark Elf kit. Um, I don't know. What do you think?
I do. It's interesting where this is one instance. I really can't complain because, as I said, they put out a ton of plastic sets back in seventh edition. But this is one instance where it was replacing the we talked about in sixth edition. I think objectively bad Dark Elf kit, but I liked it just because I grew up with it,
Mm-hmm.
which was just spearmen and crossbows. Like you had a handful of crossbow options in there too. And the issue here was they clearly wanted, I think the original intent was that they were going to do two sets. They were going to do one of spearmen and swordmen, and then another one with crossbowmen and something else. But they couldn't think of what the something else would be. So that's my only disagreement here when you talk about them being static, is that it works for the spearmen and the swordsmen. I think it's a really neat design, especially for like kind of scary looking dark elves, right? To have them be very still looking, ominous. But for the crossbowmen, especially, I don't think it works just because it's a static spearman body with just a crossbow in their hands. Kind of the problem we saw with like the six. What we learned were seventh edition dwarves with like the thunderers, where it just doesn't. I don't
Yeah.
think it's convincing, but I do like the design. I think that they still hold up. I think they look good. When I play the ninth age, I see dark elves players playing them still, and I think they look good, especially when built as spearmen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're definitely right that the crossbows are probably the lowest of the low for in terms of what weapons you're choosing from them, just because of how they look. Like, I don't think I ever see them with the crossbows actually.
Mm-mm.
And it's probably from a gameplay reasons. It might not be as beneficial, but also just how they look. You're kind of right on that. Um, I still think it's better than like the minotaurs and stuff, but I don't think it
I
belongs in
do.
A
Yeah,
tier.
let's call it B then. Let's throw
Yeah,
something
B.
in the B. Even though again, there's no alternatives for them other than like Mantic has some dark elves, but I don't
No, I don't think
think
those
they're
are better.
amazing.
I don't think they're
Yeah.
better. Yeah, maybe I should reword this to something other than better alternative, but for now, just think of it as good models, but, you
Yeah.
know, they could be better, basically. Um, oh god, this model I actually hate is the chariot. It's another one of those multi kits where it makes the
Yep.
surge runner or like the ones with the horse. So you either get cold one raptors or the chariot, and one of them gets a ballista, I think.
Hmm.
I think just kind of like the Gorgon, it's kind of all over the place, and I don't know. There's some neat bits about it. Like we'll talk about it when we talk about the knights, but the Raptor model is really nice. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The horses look a little weird in my opinion, um, and just the chariot design just looks stupid. Like it just doesn't look good in my opinion.
This is the one that with like the giant wheel in the middle, right?
Yeah,
In the
it
back
is.
of the
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, this is something I talk about on my channel quite a bit where, and forgive me, indulge me for a second because I'll lean on this concept a couple of times throughout this video. But if you imagine there's a sliding scale between grounded fantasy, which is on the one end, like imagine like Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, right? Like it could have existed at some point in human history. And on the other end of the spectrum, you've got like World of Warcraft, really high concept fantasy, where it almost looks sci-fi adjacent, right? And I don't view that as binary. I view it as a spectrum. This is a period of time where Games Workshop started sliding the scale from the grounded Tolkien-esque fantasy over to the Warcraft side. And we see it in things like that chariot chassis design,
yeah,
where if you look at what they were replacing, which was a much more grounded historical concept, even though it was being pulled by dinosaurs, forget about that, but the chassis of it started shifting over to the high concept side. And we see that with like the dwarf gyrocopter design too, where it's almost like what the hell universe is that from, right? But same thing here. This is where they started playing around with it, and I don't like it. I like the Raptors, like you said, but
yeah.
overall, it's very clunky looking for a dark elf design, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't think I have ever really seen many of these in person. I just don't think they look good at all. Um, and I think there was an option to have a hero with it too. I'm pretty sure. Like I think it came with
Mm.
an extra. I could be wrong on that one. I don't know. I think this is pretty. I don't want to say F. I think it's probably E. Like
Yeah,
there's probably some good bits from it that you can use, like the raptor, the bodies and stuff. It's just that chassis that's really bad. And I think the
I have
horses,
seen some.
meh.
Yeah, yeah, the horses are surprisingly chunky actually for dark elves. Yeah, the Raptors are the best part, but yeah, the chassis I find to be unusable. So I think E is an appropriate category for it.
For sure. And then we were just talking about them, the Cold One Night kit.
Mm.
Why don't you start here?
This is one rare instance, and it helps that the old cold ones, the cold cows, if you remember,
Hmm.
were not great. Obviously, like some of us have sentimental attachment to them, but they're not great. So like this is one instance where the plastic kit replacing the metal kit is better than the metal kit design. Like I'm not talking about sculpting detail or anything like that. I'm talking about the overall design, like what they were going for. So when this kit dropped, I remember seeing it. Okay, it came out, I think, as like a splash with the seventh edition release because I remember it being part of like a battalion box too. So anyway, the Raptors are so good, and the Knights up top look like they. I mean, they look heavy, but you know they look like they could be carried by these Raptors. So all of it, I think, just worked really, really well. What do
Yeah,
you think?
yeah, no, I'm in agreement. Like I think this kit looks really good. It's fun to build. It was one of the few kits
Mhm.
from Dark Elves that I did manage to get my hands on and actually build up and stuff. And like even if you don't play Dark Elves, you there's a ton of conversions and stuff I've seen with these models and just like bits that you use. So it's got a plethora of bits that can be used for any really like heavy armored kind of unit. And it still feels very elven. Um,
Yes.
and the Raptors, I do remember people like Lizardman players complaining because their Raptors were just much, or not Raptors, Cold One, Cold Ones. Sorry,
Yeah.
apologies, Cold Ones
No, I said
looked worse.
Raptors. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Raptors, come on. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, their Raptors are chunkier and just not as well detailed, and the poses aren't as good as the ones from the Dark Elf Knight kit here. Um, honestly, I'm thinking either A, maybe even S, to be honest. Um,
Yeah, I guess if we're doing this live, I know the last time we were joking before this video that we were better prepared for the last one. With this one, there's so many models that at least I didn't go through and like pre-rate anything. So
no,
maybe that's
I
the better
didn't.
way to do it. Yeah, throw it in S. I like them a lot. I found the original impact of that unit when it was released to be so impressive. It still holds up. And as you said, it's the staple of a lot of conversions, even from like 40K. I've seen some sweet 40K conversions with
Yeah,
those Raptors.
100%. And then the next one, I think this was one of the first 7th edition kits to come out at the time, was the Corsairs. We talked already a little
Mm.
bit about their capes and stuff. Um, and did they have multiple weapon options? Or they could do like double
They
crossbow
did,
or
yeah.
double
You
swords, I think.
it was either double swords or you could have a hand bow. I think they
Yeah,
called it.
that's what it is.
Yeah, and yeah, I like the design. Again, the big problem with it, unlike the Cold One Knights, is that the original metals they were replacing were just really, really good.
Hmm.
Even that the cloaks like were draped down to the ground, they just had so much character to them. And other than like the swords were a little bit chunky, but that was the only issue here. And there were like a couple of weird things about assembly, if I remember right, that like they all had on their cloaks, they had like those collars that went around
Yeah.
that were I found to be kind of strange. So yeah, it's a shame because I think the design was cool and they were clearly going for like a elegant look, but the cloaks when you rank them all up, I think look a little bit goofy. So
Yeah, a large unit of these look really weird. Like they work better as like for example in Old World now they're I
mm,
believe they're skirmishers, and they look a little
no,
better that way when they're spaced out and not beside each other. Like it just doesn't feel like a unit that would be a regiment basically, or like in a like a pike and shot kind of game. Uh, just doesn't look right in my opinion. All
one other thing that I realized, I was thinking about this video kind of all week, but that one thing that started happening in seventh edition when they started switching to CAD for their plastic miniature designs is especially you'll see it on sharp edges where you start noticing the designs look CAD. I don't want to say CAD designs, it's redundant, but CAD built, right?
yeah,
And anytime there's a sharp edge, like on the edge of those cloaks, it just jumps out like, right, like it's a highlight on it. Like,
yeah,
oh, I
I
can
know what you're
see that's
talking about.
different.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, you're right about that. I'm thinking either C or D. I don't think
Yeah, it's
they.
called a D.
Yeah. Uh,
Spread out the dark elves a little bit.
yep. And then we've got the Dark Elf Riders. I vaguely remember this kit. I don't think I've seen many of this kit, and I forget if it was a multi kit with a different unit in it, or was it just Dark Riders? No,
It
it
was
was
just dark riders, but you could make like there was
the different
a
weapons.
spear option. Yeah, there was some equipment options that you could um, play around with them. On the one hand, I like that there's more movement on these compared to the metal. Again, I'm always comparing to the metal sculpts they were replacing or the plastic kit that they were
Right.
replacing. The issue is like this: the old fifth, sixth edition metals had those chunky plastic horses, but the riders themselves were really, really good. Like they all had masked faces. They were kind of in a more like relaxed pose, if you remember them,
Hmm.
with their spears upright. Um, anyway, they just there's an atmosphere to them that I don't think was quite captured here. This is also I think this is around the same time that like they did the plastic Empire Pistoliers that I'm sure we're going to get to at some point,
Yep.
where they just seem to struggle with horse designs, and the horses I think were still just like Clydesdales, like they were just giant horses
Yeah.
for elven, dark riders.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna mention. The horses again, like the chariot ones, they just don't look right for elven
You know,
chariots or elven like armies in general.
mm.
I think this is going into D again because I think
Yeah,
the riders themselves are good, um, and I don't think they're as bad as the chariots. So
yeah,
D works for me. Um, and then we have the dragon, and the dragon made either a sorcerer or a lord on top of it, I believe.
mm.
And this is when Games Workshop went really weird. I think with its dragon specifically designs, because like the high elf one again, I'm gonna have similar issues with.
Yeah.
The wings are just a little way too small in my opinion. I like the idea of how like lanky and odd like GW makes their dragons. It's very Tolkien-esque. This one just doesn't look right. I
Yeah,
think
this is also the one that's like rearing up on its tail, right? Like,
yeah,
isn't
it
that
is.
how the design is?
Yeah, instead of
Yeah,
just
like
getting
you
a
said with the
flag
high
base.
elf dragon. Yeah, I don't. I think that's the main problem they had with. They were really focused on like centerpiece plastic models, right? And everyone's going to disagree on that, right? Like a lot of people do love like a big centerpiece model. I'm of the mindset that like I would rather have lots of models on the table. Like give me a big centerpiece unit, like a big unit of 10 Cold One Knights, for example, right? But anyway, that's a subjective thing. I think we can say what they tried to do here is make their centerpiece models um, all look like they had action poses,
Yeah,
right? Like we talk about the high elf one looks like it's launching down off of a rock. Same thing here, where it's like quilled up into the air. And the issue is once you start having like, God forbid, multiple of these dragons on a table or something like that, or in a collection, they look really samey and a little goofy to begin with. But yeah, these dragons, as you say, that's going to be a common theme. Were not my favorite sculpts.
yeah. Basically the same idea with me. Like they're all too dynamic, and there's not a lot of work to make them look different from each other in terms of trying to convert them and stuff without putting a lot of effort into it. Like,
Yeah.
how do you make this model look like it's sitting or like doing a different kind of pose when it's so static in this one? Um,
Hmm.
I would argue this is E. Uh, Maybe not
Yeah, that's going to be my
F.
bias.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's all right. Throw it in E. I'm sure people get angry comments. Well,
yeah. I don't know. And then we've got the Charybdis slash Hydra. Um, this felt very unnecessary to add another monster.
yeah,
Like I really don't know why they added the Charybdis, but I think they just wanted more, units in
multi
one.
kits, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
they want multi kits because I think that's the general philosophy of the time period, and even now we see this with Games Workshop where they love multi kits, and it's because a person might be unlikely to buy three Hydras, but they might be more likely to buy two Hydras and a Charybdis, right? So
yeah,
like that's why they did this. But the Charybdis in particular looks so dumb.
yeah. I think the Hydra actually looks pretty good. And
Yeah.
like just the Charybdis is just this dumb, weird Cthulhu esque. See, that was the other thing they were trying to play around with. I think was pirates and Cthulhu themes with the
Yes.
Dark Elves, and I don't think they could stick to any one theme, and so things can look really out of place beside each other. Um, that way.
Yeah, I agree. This was a weird one too. I realized that the original 7th edition release came with a metal Hydra. So there was like a different Hydra sculpt that replaced the old Hydra model.
Oh, that's right.
Um,
You're
so
right.
like yeah, so this is weird. So this must have been like 8th edition when this like Charybdis multi kit came out. Or maybe late 7th, I don't remember. But the beginning of 7th, I remember that when the original plastic line came out, there was a metal Hydra because I owned it. I remember getting it, and it was like a World of Worlds kind of design with like the sharp pointy heads on them.
Mm-hmm.
But then this, as you say, the Hydra I think looked pretty cool. The Charybdis was kind of goofy. It felt like what it was, which was like make a different monster. Okay, like here's
Yeah.
some random bits. We're gonna call it a Charybdis.
Yep. Um, yeah, other than that, I think I would put it in C just because the Hydra part, it looks like a good Hydra model, honestly. The,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, this is the opposite of the chariot, right? Where the chassis of the chariot's bad, but some of the accessories are good. This is the opposite, where I think the chassis is really good. Some of the accessories, like the Charybdis, are not great. But
yeah. Alright, C it is. And then we've got two more hero models for Dark Elves. We've got the Shadow Blade. This one's a bit more dynamic, I'll give it that. Not a lot of options for kit bashing and conversions with it, but I think it looks decent.
yeah, the cloak's just gigantic, right? Isn't that
Yeah, yeah.
again? I can kind of see the models, but it's small on my screen. That's my fault. But yeah, that's the only thing I remember is that the cloak was huge on this guy. But the sculpt itself was good, as with the sorceress. I think that we see there next. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, actually, this source is probably one of my favorite, like, single mono pose. It just looks good. And I've
Yeah,
seen a lot of great conversion work with that sorceress model.
yeah.
Um, could The Shadow Blade, I guess, doesn't rank up well in a unit and looks probably off-putting. I don't even know if you put them in a unit or not. I don't remember really that unit even being taken. Um, but in terms of sculpt, I think it looks pretty good. It makes for a fun, like, if you just want a project to paint something small, that's a good one to start with, I would say.
Yeah.
I'd probably put it in B.
Yeah, I put the Shadow Blade guy in B, and then the Sorceress I think is an A. To be
Yeah,
honest with you, I really love that sculpt.
same. And I've seen so many good conversions just for Eldar or just like Empire mages or vampires.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do with that kit. Um,
Yep.
and again, it's there's not a lot of female like just models out there, so
Hmm.
at this time especially, so that makes it nice.
Yeah.
Um, and speaking of female models, now we have the Witch Elves and Sisters of the Slaughter kit. And man, their poses are just ridiculous, especially all
Yeah.
ranked up
Hyper
together.
dynamic, right? Yeah.
Um, and I remember they're a pain to rank up without like having some weight or something at the bottom or magnetizing
Yeah.
them. They just topple over. Um, I I liked the idea they were going for, but I don't think the execution paid off.
Yeah, it's too like this is it's I mean, people are gonna again complain in the comments that I'm inconsistent here that like the spearmen are too static, but these are just too dynamic, right?
Yeah,
Like it's like can we have some that are not like leaping in the air? Because when you have three models leaping in the air side by side, it doesn't look quite right. And
yep.
as you say, it also leads to like ranking and toppling issues. So yeah, a little bit of balance I think is what was needed here. But the sculpts itself, like we saw with the sorcerers, like they did a decent job sculpting, especially the faces, the body proportions. Um, putting aside any like misogyny, right? Like
Yeah.
I think that in terms of sculpting elves, they did a good job here.
Um,
So it's just the poses that I don't like.
yeah,
And the unnecessary multi-kit, talking about Sisters of Slaughter.
yeah, really. I don't really remember anyone taking Sisters of Slaughter really or anything.
Yeah.
Um, one problem I had, I remember building them for a commission, and their hair is a separate piece, and
Mm,
if you don't glue it right, it looks a little bit off. Like their head, like it looks kind of separate, and you can kind of tell when you get close up to see that. So I never liked that part of them. Um, and yeah, I think like they look dumb, all synchronized up jumping. uh, yeah, I'm thinking C or D.
yeah, C was my gut.
Yeah, let's go with C then. It's a shame too, because I think this kit could have been a lot better. It's just like
Yep.
it's their pose that's really bad.
Yep.
And I believe that's it for Dark Elves. And then we've got Demons, which was kind of a weird one I thought of adding here, and I wasn't sure if I should add them, but they were a part of fantasy, so I should. So they're gonna have a long line of plastics. Some of them were really hard to nail down whether or not they came out in 7th or 8th edition, so I might be wrong
As
with.
I said, like I'm not even gonna try to guess anymore, just
Yeah.
because it's all kind of amorphous. So it all came out somewhere between seventh edition and end.
Yep. Um, and yeah, we're gonna start with the blood letters. Um, Personally, I think the blood letters were better metal. I liked
Yeah.
both the older style look. I wasn't really a fan of this one with like the xenomorph like elongated head that this one had and the weird
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the ones before that were metal and a little more I don't know. I want to kind of say Elder Scrolls like Dremora or whatever they were called back in Oblivion,
Hmm.
but yeah,
Yeah, like because even some of the old sculpts had like armor on them and stuff too. I know like demons don't have armor represented in the game. Maybe that was what they were trying to move away from like a WYSIWYG standpoint. But I think it looked good and it made it more interesting to paint. Talking about the old sculpts versus the new ones.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and this is kind of an inherent problem with demons, which is funny to me because like demons, I think should be fun to paint. Like you could paint whatever you want, right? You can have lots of like weird bits, like extra arms and stuff. You could have like different styles of heads.
yep.
So that has always been kind of odd to me that they have such rigidity in their design when they don't have to. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's just I mean I've painted up these guys. They're just not super exciting to paint. I like the swords. I think the swords look
Yeah.
cool. I've seen those swords used in lots of cool conversions.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm full agreement there for sure. Like, it just paint them red and then paint a sword, and that's it basically. And
Yep.
some people probably appreciate that, but like from a miniature, if you're a hobbyist, that's it's not a great, and they're just not that cool looking. And the old metal ones, like the original ones that were like really elongated, were really cool to me because of how freaky and like bendy they were. Like demons are supposed to be a bit uncanny, and like these guys just aren't that scary looking. They're just
Yeah,
like
sure.
red aliens, I guess, in a way.
There another instance we kind of talked about this in the sixth edition video with dryads, where like one of them is cool, but when you have a unit of 20 of them, they look kind of goofy.
Yeah.
I have a similar issue. Maybe we talked about it with the Corsairs too, right? Where like there are certain models where it's clear you designed them as individual models, like you're playing D&D.
Mm-hmm.
But here we have them ranked up on battlefields with 20 models, and that doesn't always translate. I think this is one instance here where it doesn't really translate.
Yeah, I would say probably C to be fair to them. Like, I don't think they're a terrible sculpt.
No, the designs are fine. They're just kind of uninspired as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed, agreed.
So,
And then we've got this is an alphabetical order. So we've got Chariots of Slanesh. This model was just a pain to build, I remember, and it just looks really awkward. And I don't think it even fit the base size properly. Like it overhangs way too much.
mhm.
Um, I don't really know what the
Yeah,
theme is with this one. Also,
it's super over the top, but I guess it does work for Slanesh as the god of excess, right?
yeah,
That it's like ridiculous over the top. I also have a personal bias against this because I remember from a gameplay standpoint, I can't remember if it was seventh or eighth, where these things were just broken as
yeah, it was
hell.
seventh. It was
Like,
seventh.
oh my God. Well, the whole demon army, you're right, in seventh edition was horrific. But yeah, I remember like one opponent having two of these things and they just like bulldozed my entire army without me being able to do anything about it. So I also just hated seeing them on the field, modeling aside. So,
Yeah.
um,
I don't think it even looks that cool. I would say E
no,
probably.
that's it too. Especially like that's the thing. If you're gonna have a model that is like that grandiose, at least like cool, right? Like, and this is more just excess for the sake of excess. Again, Slanesh, I get it, but
Uh, their newer Age of Sigmar Slanesh stuff just looks way better too now. So,
mm,
yeah, I'm just gonna have to put that in E.
sure, chuck it in there.
Yep. All right. This one is actually kind of hard in my opinion. It's the Demon Prince. I think there's a lot of cool things with this kit. Um, and usually you don't see multiple in an army, which makes this better because I think it is a little bit static. Um, and the big problem I have with it is what it replaced. Because the metal demon princes were all so cool, like the Nurgle specific
Yeah,
one, the Chaos Space Marine. I want to call it the Chaos Space Marine one, specific one. I think they all looked way cooler. And again, like you said, they're moving away from armor on the demons, and I don't know. I think there's some really cool bits in this kit as well. And I do like that they add, each theme, so you can have a Zinch Demon Prince with this or a Nurgle one. But something just isn't fully right about it.
yeah. It's not doing enough still for me. Like at the end of the day, like yeah, you can swap some of the heads out. There's a couple of different weapon options in it, but like in the end, it's going to be functionally the same model, right? Like if you have three of these in your army, you're going to struggle to have them really look different from one another, other than some of those accessories. Which is a shame because like this should be the box set that is like build a model, right? Like almost from the ground up. Like here's two different leg options, here's two different torso options. Even like I know that takes up sprue space, believe me, but especially for Games Workshop charging the prices that they charge,
Yep.
like that should be where they shine. It's when it comes to true modularity, right?
Yeah,
And this is one thing where it just feels like a missed opportunity. This could have been a really cool kit. And some of the options I think are kind of chunky looking is part of the problem too, as you say, comparing it to the model it was replacing.
yeah.
So
Well, models it was replacing because it was
yeah, sure, you're right. That's exactly it. Yeah, it
it.
was several, and then I see a lot of people now just use like the Bellacore sculpt instead
Yeah,
because it's like a
exactly.
dope model. So
Yeah, exactly. It's very. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen this plastic demon prince actually used. It's almost every. Either it's a conversion or it's a Belcore or just an older metal one because they just look way cooler.
Also, I kind of remember I haven't seen this model in a while, as you said, because most people don't use it anymore. But isn't this like he's just kind of standing there, right? Like, he's
Yeah,
got these giant ass wings, and he's just like stomping around on the ground. Again, I know we're critical of like hyper dynamic models like the witch elves, and then hyperstatic models like the spearmen, right? But like again, some balance, like make it look like he's moving at least.
yeah. Yeah, and I don't think I've ever seen two of them together. So, like, I think it would look really, really bad if your opponent had two or three of them. Um,
Oh, well, listen, that's the ninth age bias, as I played a
oh,
lot of ninth age, and yeah, there's definitely like double demon prince armies. I've seen two of these things on a table before, and
oh.
it as you hint at, it doesn't look good.
All right, all right. I'm thinking either E or D. It's probably E, just because it's the bits that are cool and everything else about it just kind of sucks.
Yeah, again, talking about like the chassis, I think is the problem with it. Like some of the accessories, as I said, are a little bit chunky for me from a sculpting standpoint, but yeah, I
Eh.
not a huge fan.
All right,
It's eh.
Demonettes.
E for eh.
Yeah, E for eh. Um, the Demonettes. What are your thoughts on this? Because I have a bunch, but
Well, this is, I mean, so here's the problem with nets. I think they're fine. Like the blood letters are like, yeah, okay, they're fine. But the ones they were replacing were the
Juan
Juan
Diaz.
Diaz.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, like so you had some big shoes to fill with this plastic kid, didn't you? So I don't think it did it. Yeah, unfortunately. But I think they're okay. And we'll get to like the plague bearers in a minute, I'm sure. But in terms of the core plastic kits for these demon lines, I think it was a little bit underwhelming. I'm in like the probably D camp for these.
Yeah, it's the fact that it's replacing those Juan Diaz
Yeah,
Demonettes.
shame.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is a shame. And yeah, they're okay-ish models, and you can do some like good conversion work with them and stuff. But overall,
You
for
know what? You know what always surprises me, especially in this era where again they were like changing their designs so much from what they were before. I think what a lot of us wanted was just a like shot for shot plastic remake of some metal sculpts. Like that's all you had to do here. Just make the Juan Diaz sculpts in
plastic.
plastic. Not even like super multi-part, right? I don't think people would have been critical of like a monopose plastic variant here. And they didn't do it. They just like went with a different design. And some of the arms, like if you put them together, like they almost look like they're like signaling a plane to come in.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
And they're still, I think, in production today. I don't think they changed any of the main like
Mm-mm.
demon infantry. I think they're all the same.
If
Sadly.
they did, it was with Age of Sigmar, and I don't really keep up with those sculpts. So
I
I think you're right, though.
Yeah. And D D sounds right. D for demonettes. There you go.
Sure.
The Herald of Nurgle. Actually, you know what? For a singular kit, I thought this one was pretty good. Um,
I don't remember this one. What was it? Just describe it.
he's like he's got his finger pointing out, and he's got a sword to the side. He's got like a weird like tongue sticking out.
Oh, yeah, this is cool. Yeah, this is a decent sculpt. Actually, I like the Nurgle sculpts in the plastic range in general. Um, so yeah, this is just a continuation of that, where they just had some character at least. Whereas, as we talked about with like the blood letters, where it's just like uninspired.
Yeah,
At least I feel like the Nurgle stuff all had some inspiration behind it.
yeah. Honestly, you can say that about Games Workshop is that they put a lot of love into their Nurgle plastics
Mm,
to
yeah.
this day. Like, I think they're probably one of the more favored gods. Honestly, I would say B or A for this one. I don't think it's as
Yeah.
probably B. I don't think it's as good as the sorceress. And
Yeah.
it's not like you can use it for really anything else.
Right.
So yeah, and then it's kind of similar to the demonettes in my opinion. The horrors in plastic are just worse than the old metal ones.
That's a
Those,
shame. Again, I think those old metal horrors were amazing. So again, just give me an exact plastic copy of those, and it's gonna be perfect. But you didn't do that.
yeah, exactly. Like the old ones look kind of like they're scarier looking. Their faces are really
Hmm.
weird. They act like demons, in my opinion. What demons should be, very uncanny and very chaotic and scary.
Yeah.
And none of these demons really do that, honestly. And I think D, with the
Yeah.
demonettes. Um, Oh, we have the Plague Bears next. What are your thoughts on that one?
I like these more. Again, I actually like the metal ones they were replacing, but I like them less than the Juan Diaz Demonettes and the Zinch ones,
Yep.
the horrors. Yeah. So they had, again, not as big shoes to fill with these plastic ones. But again, I think it's almost like they had like a two-part sculpting process for the Nurgle ones, whereas like the Demonettes and the horrors, it was like, here's the sculpt, now we're done. The Plague Bears, it's like, let me sculpt the original model. Now I'm going to go back and sculpt all the Nurgle stuff onto it,
Yeah.
and as a result, it just looks like a more complete model. So I liked them. I think they look cool. I would probably put these one tier above the other ones.
Yeah. We put the Bloodletters in C. Um,
No, I guess they're one tier above the bloodletters for me too. Then, so maybe B.
yeah,
I
I'm
don't know
okay
how you
with
feel
B.
about them.
Like I recently did a commission. I painted like 50 of them, and yeah, they're fun to build. They're easy build.
Yeah.
Got plenty of bits, and you can change around some of the torsos. The command, we didn't really talk about that with a lot of these other models, but the
Yeah, it's
command of
true.
these look really good. Actually, I just realized I forgot the Dark Elf Executioner kit.
Oh, that's right. The multi kit with the
Yeah,
black guard.
yeah. Just speaking of that, and but yeah, for Plague Bearers, I think these are really good. Um,
Yeah.
and just to quickly put it, I would say like the Executioner kit is pretty good, even though they're static. I think those masks and like their weapons are really sick, but they do look a bit static, kind of like the Chaos Warriors, I guess. But
Yeah, it's weird because it works with those, especially for the blackguard sculpts, because the models they were replacing certainly were incredibly static, if you remember
yeah,
those. Yeah, the only downside is, again, making it a multi-kit, because I almost feel like you needed a separate kit for the executioners, because the metal executioners they were replacing were so good. Those are the ones with like the chainmail masks, if you
yep,
remember them. And they had the, anyway, that was lacking a little bit. So yeah, it was a different direction with these. As you said, I think the skull masks are cool. Not for me, but I can appreciate that they are cool and they work for Dark Elf Executioners. So yeah, it's a B
yeah.
kit
I
for
was
me,
gonna say
maybe.
a B. Just forgot that, and just good thing I remembered that now. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm gonna probably miss other kits. There's just so many that came out.
yeah. There's still plenty to go through.
Yeah. But back to Nurgle, we've got Plague Drones next.
Mm.
And I thought these were really cool when they came out, but looking back at them, they're a little chunky in my opinion. And yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they have the gyrocopter problem for me, where
yeah,
they have a proportion issue that just I don't think they would ever be airborne, right? Even because it's magic holding them up, but
yeah. I really like the idea, especially the bug theme of Nurgle. But yeah, they're so chunky. The wings are way too small. Um, I don't know. I would probably put this in D or C.
yeah, I was thinking D.
Yeah, which is a shame because like that it has a lot of promise, but it just doesn't deliver.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and then we have the Screamers. Um, if I remember correctly, they almost look like they're metal ones. I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
these actually were really good. This is exactly what I wanted from most of the
Yeah,
demon range. And I did it here with the plastic screamers. And the original screamers were great, but you didn't have to do anything else. So thank God they didn't do anything weird with these.
yeah,
So yeah, I think these are good. These are like a solid B.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've assembled this kit. I've just always seen it assembled.
Hmm.
So I don't know what the bits are like in the sprue and whatnot, but it doesn't really matter. They look really
I
good.
think you had like different tail options and stuff like that.
Mm,
I've never put it together either, but I've seen the sprue and you have a little bit of modularity to it. But again, I don't think you needed a lot of modularity here.
all right.
And again, thank God they resisted the temptation to make it like a multi kit.
Yeah, true. That's a good point. Um, Next up is the Skull Cannon or Skull Chariot. Again,
Oh
stupid
God,
chariot designs that are terrible. This one
this
is,
I it's bad. Oh, I
yeah,
don't like this at all.
I,
Someone once described it to me as it looks like something out of a Dr. Seuss book, and I can't unsee it now. Like it does look like who contraption
yeah,
that is
you're right.
being manned by demons, and it's like, oh yeah, yeah, I kind of see it now.
Especially,
So
it's not a good look for Korn, especially to have a goofy
yeah,
thing, right? This has got to go in F. I think this is just.
yeah, I hate this thing so much. It's one of the dumbest models that they ever put out.
I think they were like, oh, demons need like ranged option that isn't Zinch. Let's make a cannon, and it could have been cooler in design. Yeah,
Sure, you could have just had like a corn juggernaut with like a cannon sticking out of the back, right? Like that actually would look kind of cool, right? But instead they have this very silly chariot design where like what, can you imagine a bloodletter actually doing that? Like
yeah,
standing on the
exactly.
back of, right, let me fire up the cannon here.
Um,
Put my big sword down.
and you've got like the hell cannon model that is so cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, that's all you kind of needed to do was just make that in plastic.
Now we've got the skull crushers. Um, I think they're okay. Um,
These are the ones that are juggernauts with bloodletters on top, right?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're okay. It's whether like you like the original. And this is another instance where at least they stuck with the original Juggernaut designs,
Yep.
and they just kind of made them in plastic. Yeah, I think that these work decently. I actually think that they did a good job sculpting the bloodletters on top, making it not look like they're surfing them, but like they've got like one hand holding on, like
Yep.
gripping the front of the Juggernaut, if I remember right.
Yep.
So I think that the movement that they achieve with them is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I would say like B.
Yeah,
Uh,
that works for me.
yeah, they look cool. And then the other mounted option is the Slanesh Seekers. And I do like the again, I think the older ones had the same kind of mount. I don't think it's very different if I remember correctly.
It's just a little. It's a little thicker in
Yeah.
plastic than the originals. Because I think the mounted one, like the original medals, were also on the sculpts,
Yep.
and he just did such a good job with proportions.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they're just a little bit thicker variants. And I think the mounts have the same problem with the demonettes, right? Where or not the mounts, the riders, where some of the arm options and the like mohawk hair and stuff just were not my favorite if I'm remembering the kit right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it's just got to go in D beside the Demonettes,
Sure,
basically. Like,
throw them in there.
same exact problems, basically, as the Demonettes.
Hmm.
Yeah. And another thing that I think is really stupid, the Soul Grinder. Gosh, like let's add Defiler legs onto a demon. Essentially, don't.
Yeah.
I really don't get the idea of this one. It looks so dumb in either 40k or fantasy. It really
That's the
looks.
issue, right? Yeah, is yeah, the with multi kits inherently you're gonna have a problem. And we'll get to that with some of like the high elf kits stand out in my mind as like, why did you make this a multi kit? Because you just made both versions bad. This is kind of the same problem here where I think they were trying to make a model that would be skirting the line between fantasy and 40k, and as a result it doesn't really fit, as you say, in either genre.
Yeah.
So
I've
yeah, this
it doesn't got anything really appealing to me. Like if you're playing 40k, just get a Defiler instead. That thing looks cooler.
yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
this is an F for me. This is right down there with the Skull Cannon.
yeah, I'm with
In
you.
terms of that, because this is like the skull cannon. This one has design problems. It's not an execution problem. It's like the concept of it is bad.
Yeah. Okay, and that's it for demons. I don't think I
Wow.
left anything. Like I said, that was a lot of kits, but I knew that demons were gonna have a lot of kits.
Hmm.
But yeah. And next up is dwarfs, which has a decent amount of kits here. And starting off, I forgot that they did this, but we have Belagar, a named character in plastic. I always find
Yeah,
that
yeah,
bizarre, especially at this time when there were still going to be metal named characters around. They decided this
yeah.
guy's going to be Belagar. Um, but from a model standpoint, I think he looks pretty good. Again, like I said,
He's,
with sixth edition, I don't like dwarves really, so I'm gonna have bias.
yeah, I think he looks good for a dwarf hero. Even just to use as like a generic dwarf hero, as I think many of us did. As I said in the sixth edition video, I do like dwarves, so I'll try to counterbalance you a little bit here. But I think this is fine. This is like a B or a C for me.
Um, let's put it in B. Nothing really wrong with it, honestly. It does look like a good character.
Yeah.
Uh, Next up is the engineer. Um, I think the gun is cool. I really don't like the thing he has on his back. I don't really get what's
Yeah,
wrong
there's
with.
just so much going on with this thing.
Yeah,
This is a problem they generally do with dwarves, and I think it's because dwarves are shorter, so like they feel this need to overcompensate with like stuff on them because they want to charge the same amount of money, right? So you can't have a model that's that small that doesn't have any like presence. and still
This,
charge $25 for it. So
yeah, this is
yeah.
like the era of like you said earlier, of kind of like Warcraft, but also like the steampunk theme, and we're gonna see that a
Mm,
little bit with Empire too. Um,
yeah, we will.
I like how enthused you sound about that. Um,
Yeah. It's my look how they massacred my boy. Yeah, that's
exactly.
kind of my feeling with it. No, this is probably a D for me.
Yeah.
This is not my favorite.
Uh, all right, and another one that we're not gonna like is the gyrocopter. Oh my god. It's
Again, going back to like what it replaced, right? Because I really like both, like even the oldest gyrocopter design, which was the simple one, where it's just like a platform with some rotor
two.
blades on
Yeah,
top.
I think that thing is sick. I think it looks very like I don't know, it feels kind of grounded somehow. Like you took a look at
Yeah,
Leonardo da Vinci's kind of works and you add that to dwarves. I think it works. This is like steampunk art deco garbage.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, and the tiny little propeller blades,
Yeah.
like as if that thing was ever going to get off the ground. Yeah, I don't like it. It's E at the most for me, just because I just hate the design.
Yeah, I don't think it belongs in F, but I think E is right. It also makes the gyro bomber, and it's just a limo version of it. I think. I don't think there's anything really different. It's just longer. I think that's the only
No,
difference.
I think actually, if I remember right, the Gyro Bomber is a separate kit, isn't it? There's the smaller chassis. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. It's been a minute since I've touched that model. But the Gyro Bomber, like you said, is a longer design that has like two propellers on it,
Oh, it does.
right?
Oh, you might be right then. Oh, well, I
But
forgot about.
they're both functionally the same to
Yeah,
me.
I'm
It's just,
gonna
as
just
you
say
said, it's
it's
like a stretch
E.
limo version of the gyrocopter.
All right. And then it's hammers and longbeards, I believe. This kit made both of them.
Mm.
Um, I got really nothing to say on this one. I think they're kind of meh. Like I don't think they do anything for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember now. So there was the Deep Watch kit. Was it like, because there were two plastic multi kits, right? There was like a hand weapon shield variant,
That's the Iron
and
Breakers.
then
Yeah, it's Iron
right.
Breakers and
Oh, I
Iron
said Deep Watch.
Drakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Iron Break.
Oh, that was it. Yep, that's exactly right. So this is the hammers and Longbeards one. Yeah, the problem with this one again is the metal like Longbeard sculpts they were replacing. Those ones, talk about oozing with character. Those are the ones that have like they're resting their axes and like
Yeah.
leaning on them, and they have like the long beards going down like to the ground.
Hmm.
So those were incredible sculpts, some of the best like metal sculpts the Games Workshop ever did for dwarves. And so this was just kind of boring by comparison. I will say I do like these a lot better than the regular warriors that we reviewed again in the 6th edition video that I
Yep.
think were 7th edition sculpts. These are massive improvement
A hundred
over
percent.
those in terms of proportions. So probably like a C for me on
Yeah.
these.
I'm okay with C. I think like the Longbeards look better than the hammers in that kit. Again, it's the problem having these like multiple unit.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
so dumb. Yeah, that like you made both units worse by trying to cut, basically like trying to find a compromise solution between two disparate designs.
Yeah. And we're probably gonna have the same opinion on Iron Breakers and Iron Drakes. I think at least
I
they.
like these a little bit less,
Oh, I was gonna
actually.
say I like these a little bit more. That's
So
interesting.
it's let me just get my thoughts out of the way. The Iron Drakes I think are dumb. I don't like those. They fall into like the gyrocopter category for me, and it was clear that they wanted an option, like another ranged option to add into the book. I remember them being kind of powerful at the time when they came out, and they wanted a multi option with the Iron Breakers. But
Okay. I kind of like the Iron Breakers themselves.
yes,
Especially when you compare them to Warriors. And as for
yeah.
the Drakes, I never really hated them, especially since I have only ever seen like a unit of 5 of them, so they don't look terrible like when there's a low model count
See,
of
and
them.
this is again my ninth age
Ninth,
bias showing.
okay.
Yeah, where there was a time where like they changed the rules and they made them like accidentally super OP, so you'd have like 30 of them in a
Oh
list
God.
in Unity 10. Yeah.
All right. Well, from that perspective, what do you think? A D?
Well, You were saying you like them more, right,
Yeah,
than the Longbeards?
I do like them more than Longbeards, but I don't think I would put them
Let's
B.
let's chuck them and see then.
Yeah, C is good.
Isn't that where we put the other ones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good compromise. All right. And then this one, I don't know if this was actually sixth edition. I could be wrong on this, because it did come with the Battle for Skull Pass. It's the miners. Uh,
Hmm.
I I don't have a
Yeah.
lot. I don't know. They're kind of dumb,
This
but
actually, well, it was separate. So the Battle for Skull Pass is the same design, but those were like the monopose models. These ones were actual multi-part.
okay.
Um, so you had like separate arm options. I just didn't like the weapon. Like what I wanted, again, going back to the metal sculpts from fifth, sixth edition. Like they have enough character just in having like candles on their helmets, right? You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to add all this weird like tech gear onto their helmets, like eyeglasses and stuff. And I don't know. There's just too much tech involved with a lot of the dwarf options at this period of time.
Yeah. It.
But I did, yeah.
Sorry to just add on to that point. It felt
Mhm.
like this edition they really wanted to lean into some Art Deco-ish style to them. I don't know where it comes from, but like it seems really weird when you compare them from the sixth edition or earlier sculpts to like this edition, and even just the way they're painted even is true of that as well. I think.
Yeah, it's. I mean, these are really. This is the era of steampunk dwarves, as far as I'm concerned. It's clear, like we start seeing the influence of what they ultimately did with Age of Sigmar here, and I know they've kind of like wavered a bit with Age of Sigmar designs, but that they clearly wanted to. They saw like the success of 40K, and were like, well, we just must need more 40K in our fantasy setting,
Yeah.
and the dwarves and the Empire, as we'll get to, were an easy avenue for that, but. Yeah, this is like a D kit for me. I did not enjoy it and enjoy painting it. It's one weird instance where like the monopose plastics from Battle for Skull Pass, I think were better than the multi-part option.
These.
Just
Okay.
yeah,
And then the last one is a hero. It's a dwarf slayer. Um, I don't think he's anything great. I don't think he's terrible. Some of the old metal dwarves were way too static, like the slayers and stuff. So this one is pretty nice that he's a hero. Um, I don't know. What do you have to say about this guy?
he's cool. He's got a lot of movement to him. I think he's probably a B. The only thing that pissed me off is like when they released this guy, I was like, why can't you do a whole unit of Slayers in plastic like this, right? Like,
Yeah, I was just thinking
why?
because like you have witch elves, which are kind of similar in concept, if like very I guess like very little clothed is the way I'll put it, and
Hmm.
like static, berserking kind of model. Yeah, that's a good point. Why didn't they come out in plastic with a?
I really don't know because there is the Avatars of War multi-part plastic dwarf Slayer set that's really good, and I think it was a former GW sculptor that did those. And yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. This is like a weird gap in the dwarf line where, especially if you're like making up new units like Iron Drakes, that you're not going to do dwarf Slayers in plastic. The only thing I can think of is that they couldn't think of a way to multi-kit it, so they're like, never mind, we'll just not do it.
Yeah. All right. I would say like B or C. I don't think he's as nice as like some of the other heroes. Honestly, maybe just C.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
yeah, C is fine. All right, and then that's it for dwarfs. Now we're on to Empire. And this one's probably gonna see a lot of hate from both of us. But we are starting off with a kit that I think is actually good, in my opinion. The Empire Archers.
Is
Uh,
it the Huntsman, like the archers?
yeah,
Yeah, those are good.
I think there's a lot of cool bits. I think it looks good. I use a lot of bits from this kit a lot, so for me, I really like it. And the fact that it has like a random orc with a arrow sticking out of him is just a fun little
Oh yeah,
extra thing that they added to it. They have a lot of character. I don't know. I would say this is like an A for me.
this is an A for me too. Yeah, this was one kit that like for a while went out of print, or maybe it's still out of print and like nobody could get it. And I've seen really cool conversions. Like I don't think we haven't gotten to the Empire State Troops yet, but I've
Yeah,
seen really cool conversions using these guys as Empire State Troops, and they look really good.
yeah. If you're doing like one of the poorer provinces, you could have like all your troops with
Sterling.
yeah, Stirland or Hawkland. I've seen a lot of good conversions with those two, especially. Yeah, definitely an A for me. And then actually, I do like this kit as well. The battle mages, a lot of bits. All the bodies are the same, but like generally speaking, you're probably not going to use more than 2 wizards. And like the weapon arms and stuff, there's so many good bits from this kit, and the heads too. Uh, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's good. I like the concept. I like, unlike the Demon Prince we talked about, it really not having that much modularity to it, whereas this does. Like, you could really make a bunch of different looking wizards out of it. I found some of the options to be kind of like chunky looking again.
Hmm.
Again, it was just sort of as the era where they were, I think, they were getting a little ahead of their skis in terms of what they were designing versus what they could actually print. And some of these multi kits, especially, kind of fell victim to that. But yeah, I think the design is cool. I think the concept is cool of like a true build a hero kind of set, especially as a juxtaposition against like the push fit plastics. Whereas we joked like, why is it plastic?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say like probably a B
Yeah.
for me on this one.
It's mostly the bits. Yeah, the bodies themselves are kind of static and they're kind of and like you said, they're a bit chunky, but like all those bits I just end up using for conversions and stuff, and I'm really pleased with that. Um, then next, of the singular model characters, I think this is one of the worst looking ones. It's the captain. He's just got the great sword pushing downward.
Oh, with the giant feather,
Yeah,
like the great sword that is in like the weirdest position that like makes no sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, no, I don't. There's not really anything I like about this kit. Um,
Yeah, it's a weird instance of him like doing too much and nothing at all at the same time, where he's just got a lot going on but nothing to say.
yeah, uh,
Um,
D or E.
BBE,
Yeah, or
yeah,
E. um, Next up for another like hero kit, but this time it's multi-part. It's the Empire Commanders, and there was a couple of like these kits where they were like dual, where one
hmm
you could make like a mounted guy and a normal guy on foot.
yeah. High Elves had one too, and then of course there was the dwarf one that never got released, but like pictures got circulated. I don't know if you ever saw those.
Yeah, I do vaguely remember that, and there's one for
Yeah.
orcs as well.
hmm
But I mean, this has a lot of cool bits to it. Like everyone loves that BSB, like the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I've got
Yeah.
not a lot to say about this one.
Yeah.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, I think it looks fine too. Yeah, I think probably right up there with the Wizards. There's some designs in it that I didn't like. Again, kind of veering more toward like the Warcrafty side of things versus the more grounded. But again, it's Empire. I get it. It's already inherently a little bit steampunk. But yeah, I thought and again, as you point out, I like the true modularity of it. That's something that we really only see now from like kits like North Star.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, like if you've never seen their Wizards set, like I've got reviews up for both of those. They've got really awesome, like true multi-part wizard sets that have a lot of these same kind of feelings.
Yeah, that's true. B B I think is good
Yeah,
for this. Yeah.
sure.
Good bits, but like overall the models are just eh. And like you said, stuff like North Star and like there's so many other kits that could work, I guess, like nowadays. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh all right, and then I guess this is one of the more fantastical units that came out for Empire, I think at this time, were the Demogryph Knights.
Oh yeah.
Um Personally, I'm a big fan of these. The only problem I will say is like their armor is very much like if you have more than 3 of these, they're gonna look the same, and that's a big problem. I think is
hmm
if you start having more than 3 of these guys, they lose a little of their uniqueness, which is a shame. But I love all the head options and their bodies and everything. I think they went a little more Renaissance more with them than a lot of
Yeah.
these other kits, so I think that's great. And I like the idea to have, a bit of a monster, I guess, for Empire. What do you think?
Yeah, I like them a lot. Again, I only see problems, like you said, when you get like a big unit of like 9 in the ninth age, or I guess 8 was the cap. But yeah, so I like the like German Gothic armor on the riders. I think it came with 2 weapon options, right? Like
Yep.
lance and shield and halberds.
Hmm.
Right, that's how you do a multi-kit, guys. You don't try to make 2 totally separate units. Just give us a couple of equipment options,
Exactly.
and right, and then you're great. So yeah, I thought they looked good, and I really liked the demigryph designs themselves, which is usually rare, like especially when they're coming up with like a new creature.
Yeah.
But I think they did a good job of them.
Um, I'd say A for me personally.
Yeah, probably an A. Yeah, they're good.
Like I love them. I'm using a bunch of them, so I can't argue against them really. Um, the engineer, bad.
Not even the big old telescope. Yeah, it's just a composition issue. Yeah,
Yeah, he's so hunched over looking through it, and I think there's an option where he can have a long rifle. Actually, I think it's the same kit. You can choose either one, and
oh, I didn't consider that. Yeah,
yeah,
well then it's one like the extra long rifle, right, with
yeah,
like the little ribbons flowing at the end of it. Yeah,
yeah. I think it's pretty
yeah.
meh.
D or E for me, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, E. Um, we've got flagellants. And these are replacing some fantastic metal
Hmm.
characterful ones.
Yeah,
With
that's the problem with them, right? And this is also I talked about like sharpness of detail being a giveaway for when they started flipping over to CAD for their model designs. And this is I remember this is the first set that I ever noticed it on, where I was like, oh, they're doing something different now because of like the really sharp hair even
yeah,
on these guys versus some other models.
uh,
So,
yeah, the robes look particularly bad. Actually, I think.
mhm.
Like, oh, don't get me wrong. I think there's a lot of great bits in this kit, but
Mhm.
just for themselves, pretty pretty meh. Honestly.
Yeah, that's like the general overall feeling I had. Like if you look at the models, is that they look just very sharp. As you say, the robes, the hair, everything about them just has like a pointed feel to it. So,
Also, their
and the metal
weapons,
sculpts they were replacing.
their
Oh yeah, that's
flails are
another good point.
so ridiculous too. Actually, like they're
Hmm.
way too oversized and over the top. Like you compare them to the previous ones that had just simple wooden flails or just like one ball and chain. Instead, these guys got like three or four oversized like ball and chain flails. No,
Yep.
I don't think they work. I would say this is like a D or an E.
I was thinking D.
All right, yeah. A lot of good like bits in it though, like those like books and stuff like that. Those are always useful bits to have.
Yeah,
Some of the head options are good too. The Empire Greatswords. What do you think about that one?
they're good. Again, this is another issue where it's mostly the metal sculpts they're replacing were so good, and those were I think the old Perry sculpts,
Yep.
those metal ones. So these are good. I'm actually glad that they restrained themselves a little bit and didn't do anything weird with design. They just tried to do like plastic versions of the fifth edition or sixth edition metal sculpts. So this is probably like a B set for me, something like that.
Oh,
What do you
okay.
think?
Yeah, probably around the same. Like a lot of good bits here. I will say about the older greatswords, they do get a little samey looking. Like
Oh, sure. That's
like they don't look that different. At least with this kit, I feel like there's a little more variance than the older metal ones.
that's a
Um,
good point.
and you know what? They do look very like lance-necked Renaissance, basically. Like
Hmm.
they look a bit more historical and grounded than a lot of the other options that we're gonna see here. Yeah, B is fine with me. Makes sense. All right. The Empire Griffin. This
No.
makes like the wizard, the general, or Carl Franz.
Yeah, I
Um,
just hated the pose on this thing, like the one claw in the
yeah,
air.
he's just saying hi or something. I don't know what he's
Yeah.
doing.
Rawr.
Yeah, he's not very intimidating. Which is a shame because like the wings are gorgeous on this model and like
Hmm.
the overall like look of the Griffin looks cool, but it's the stance. It's bad. You're right.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think like the guys on top look fine. Um, and I thought it was cool to have like the dual head. I think that one looks okay. Um,
Yeah.
also, I'm not a big fan of the Carl Franz design. Um,
Yeah.
uh, yeah,
For such an important named character, yeah, he's a little bit underwhelming.
yeah, and it okay. Small like pet peeve with me is that he has a very different style helmet than the rest of Empire. Like it's very almost medieval and compared to like Renaissance. Like it's a
Hmm.
bassinet, like kind of like a hound skull almost. That's like ornately
That's
designed.
that's kind of a general problem with Empire, especially of this time period where we've veered away from like historical Renaissance Landsknecht designs like we saw in fifth and sixth edition, and now it's a hodgepodge of depending on who's designing it. Either it's medieval, it's Renaissance, it's like sci-fi or steampunk, right? Like it's
Yeah,
some kind of fantasy. So it's just a hodgepodge at this point, which is depending on who's doing the sculpt, because there's no like overarching cohesive design that you might see from you know other armies.
yeah. Um, I don't think it's as bad as the Dark Elf Dragon.
D.
Yeah, D. Yeah, it's a good spot for it. And then next up, we've got the Hellstorm rocket battery and the Hellblaster volley gun.
Oh yeah.
I believe the Hellstorm was a new kit. I don't think there was ever a metal one, so that was a new design for the
No,
kit.
it was. Yeah, it was a multi-kit ad. This is actually one instance where I don't think it looks bad as a multi-kit.
No,
And I don't think it took up that much space to add in like some rocket options there. And there is a historical precedent for,
rocket.
like yeah, like right, like a rocket artillery piece like this. So
Yeah,
it all kind of worked.
we were just talking about like Renaissance to medieval. We're also going to see some Napoleonic influence here too.
True.
But I think this one kind of works well. And I do like it. Like the rocket battery does look cool, and I like that you can make a little diorama with either or. There's little options for ammunition and stuff for the side.
That's true. They had some cool extra bits. Forgot about those.
I would say this is like a B.
Yeah, yeah. This is actually a decent one.
Yeah.
Not the S tier cannon that we did in
No,
sixth edition.
no,
Not
it's
as
not as good.
versatile as that. But
Yeah. I mean, even the crew is pretty good for this too. So,
hmm
I mean, there could be an argument for A. I don't think I would ever put it into S though.
no.
All right, and then we've got more wacky designs now. We've got the Luminarch Hish and the
Oh
Celestial
god.
Arcanum.
Yeah.
I just never understood. Sorry, I never understood the idea of the Hurricanum specifically. It's like a weather thing. Like it changes what's the weather's going on outside. I don't really understand how that works. I know it's magic, but I don't know. It seemed a little wacky for even like, especially for Empire. And the Luminarch of Hish is like a magnifying glass, basically. And you're burning ants with
Yeah.
it. I don't
This
know.
is one instance where I almost feel like they worked backwards from the finished design to the rules, right? Like it's like, all right, we've got this giant wagon thing that's going to be carrying this giant weapon on top. Come up with some background for it. It's like, okay, it controls the weather. I don't know. No, it's
Yeah,
magic, right?
yeah. I think there's some really cool bits. Oddly enough, I think these horses look better than a lot of the other horses at this time. Um, but I shouldn't like that's just a very small part about this kit.
Sure, that's not the
Yeah,
dominant part of the
yeah,
model, is it? Yeah.
exactly. Like I've got nothing really good to say about the chassis. It looks really dumb. It doesn't look like two horses could even pull it. That's the other thing. Like it looks super heavy, and then these just two horses are pulling. I don't know.
I
It's
just realized too that this is the same like core frame as the War Altar, right? It's just like it was a different kit,
yeah, it's a
like
different
the
kit,
weapon
but it's basically
accessories.
the same thing. Like they are separate kits. I looked
Yeah,
it up.
it's almost like they worked out of that again, especially in this era. Games Workshop loves centerpiece models so much, so they always everybody's got to have a centerpiece model.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's almost like they had the War Altar, and they're like, well, what else do we want to do with this? And they came up with these wacky magic weapon designs.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm not a fan of these. I just think conceptually they're kind of dumb.
E.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah. Outriders and Pistoliers. We mentioned the horses earlier. They are chunky.
Yeah, Clydesdales.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shire horses.
Yeah. Really. Um, it just looks ridiculous. Like those riders look a little too small on them.
hmm
And like the older kits did look fine, actually. I'm trying to. I also don't like, especially their helmets of the Pistoliers on this kit. I really don't like compared to the old, just more grounded versions, basically of them.
Yeah, I agree. I also don't like the pistol designs on these, which is funny given that they are pistoliers.
They
But
don't.
yeah, that they're those long, like dueling pistol designs.
They're massive. Like I have
Yeah,
a bunch of them, and like they're the size of like a handgun, basically, like a
yeah,
rifle
yeah. They're huge.
on a missile tree. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
again, it's almost like they ran into a problem because the horses were so big. They had to like even over heroic scale the weapons so they didn't look, puny by comparison. So
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I it doesn't work.
nope, very silly.
I think E.
Yeah, that works for me.
All right, and probably the two worst kits of Empire, in my opinions. Starting with the not as bad ones, the state missile troops in their pajamas.
Yeah, we got to talk about the pajamas because that's something that it was a real shame. Again, especially talking about like look how they massacred my boy from the 6th edition plastics, not for the range troops,
Yep.
but the traditional like Renaissance designs that those were grounded in. To see them now wearing, skin tight pajamas with no shoes on was a real strange option. Also, like overloaded with stuff like around their waists in many
Yeah.
cases, like iconography and little relics and stuff that they. It's almost like they realized like the designs were too silly and plain, so they had to just like bolt a bunch of stuff on. But I really didn't like them. What do
No.
you think?
No, it's the same complaint here. You're going from grounded Renaissance troops to these weird pajama wearing guys. And some of them aren't wearing shoes for whatever reason. They're just in their bare
Hmm.
feet. I don't get it. Um,
Especially since they had so much restraint with the great swords,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
That you really were doing your best to just replicate the metal sculpts that came before. So I don't know why they couldn't do that here. And as we talked about with 6th edition, if you had done that, if you had just done a generic Renaissance approach with maybe some like optional fantasy accessories that could be glued on, you would have like historical gamers picking these kits up to use in historical games, right? But as it stands, no one's going to be using this set for any of their like Renaissance wargaming.
I mean, that's like a Games Workshop philosophy. If you can't use their models for other games, right? That is one
That's true.
thing they don't like doing for whatever reason. They're dumb for that. Um, but yeah, like I think there's like some okay bits that you can take from them. The guns look fine. I don't think those are terrible. Um,
Crossbows are a little bit big,
yeah, that's
but
true. I mean, there
like
are.
siege crossbows.
Yeah, that's true. They are like siege crossbows. Yeah, I want to say it's like a D or an E, honestly.
Mm,
You know
I'd
what?
give it a D.
Yeah, um, and it's just what they replaced. Same thing with we're going to talk about the state troops now. It's the same thing. What they're replacing is ridiculous. I don't know. I've seen people argue that these are supposed to be based off the English Civil War, and I still don't even see that in them.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I don't see it.
absolutely not.
Yeah,
No,
I've seen
absolutely not.
some cope for them. The halberds are really weird in this kit too. Uh,
Yeah, actually, someone I was talking about someone pointing something out, and I can't unsee it. If you look at the way they're holding the halberd, you got one hand on the back of the halberd, or the spear, because it was like a
yeah,
multi-option for that.
yep.
The left hand is on top of the spear.
Oh, you're right.
It's
It
it's
is.
bracing it from the top, and as soon as you see it, you're like, "Oh, wait a minute! Like, there's no way that that would be held aloft, right? Like, that
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense."
Ah,
So unless it's being like thrust forward, like that, it kind of could work for a spear if it's like actively being thrust forward, but it still doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't hold a spear that way.
oh,
Yeah, that's I
yeah.
don't like it.
The halberds look bad. The spearheads looked okay. Like I used some of the
Yeah, they're
spearheads
fine.
for bits. And like the sword options, I think are okay. It's interesting that they have like a ton of falchions. I recently was going through my bits and I was like, they made so many falchions for this kit randomly. Not that there's anything
Yeah,
wrong with it. It's just very different.
no, it was a different. It's just a real departure. It's what we were talking about, right?
Mm,
Even like all the shields are very small, like buckler
yeah,
style, and all of them have sculpting on them, if I remember, or a lot of them did anyway.
they
Anyway,
do.
it was very strange. Yeah,
It is a pain because sometimes I want to use those shields and I have to file down like all the sculpting on it just to have a plain shield, and it's like, well, that
yeah,
kind of sucks. Um,
yep,
Again, I think it goes into D right beside them.
yeah.
Maybe even E, but eh. And like the Hurricanum, the War Altar isn't much better. um, that giant statue on the back of it is ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. At least this one like had some precedent, like that there was a war altar that this was replacing. Again, that's why I
That's
have to
true.
believe that they started with this war altar design, and we're like, what else can we make out of this thing? And that's where the Hurricanum came in. So yeah, at least this is trying to represent something that came before. So I'm less critical of it that way, but
Yeah,
it
that's
does.
true.
It's just yeah, I would put this one tier above. Where was the Hurricanum? Was
E.
that
It's
E?
E. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
I would
probably
throw this one in D.
D. Yeah, I'm fine with that too. It's also like there's some good bits. It's the only way you can get a plastic warrior priest. Actually, it's surprising they didn't make
Oh
a warrior priest like just singular plastic one. Like
yeah, yeah.
probably would have been better than using the cap. It's weird to have the captain alongside also having that commander kit as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, and that's it for Empire. Um, Next up is High Elves, which got a lot of stuff, but I mean it's 2 editions worth of stuff, I think. So
Sure, that's a good point.
makes sense. And I don't think I included any of the what was it, Island of Blood stuff in this. There was already too many things, and I didn't really have too much to say
Sure.
about those models, so I just didn't
Yeah,
add
I
them.
guess the only thing I wanted to say is it's a shame that they didn't release some of those as multi-kits. Like the Lothran Seaguard, I think were really good. The Illyrian Reavers were really good.
Yep.
The Swordmasters were really good in all cases because they were kind of just recreating what were already there in metal that were successful sculpts, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So first off, we've got Lariel, and again, we got another named character. I mean, she could just work as a sorcerer or wizard for your high elves.
I have no memory of this model. This was
Yeah,
this an end times piece?
I think it was just before End Times actually. I think it was when
Huh.
I think it was 8th edition High Elf Codex came out. I could be wrong. Um, I don't know. I barely remember this model myself, but it looked very AutoCAD and actually a bit chunky if I remember correctly.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah, I would probably just put it in D. There's not much to it,
Sure.
and especially for a named character, it's a little disappointing too.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got the High Elf Chariot. It makes the lion version and the I think it's just like horses as well.
Yeah, the Tyrannic Chariot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's its name. I think the line designs are actually really good.
Yeah, they did a good job with this, I think. And I remember the Lion Chariot rules being kind of OP when it came out because I think it was stubborn, if I'm not wrong. So
Oh, okay.
anyway, yeah, I thought the design worked well, and I wasn't clear on the Sashimono design on the banner in the back.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that kind of threw me. But otherwise, I thought this looked good. And this is another instance where I think the riders were good on the old metal Tyrannic Chariot,
Mhm.
but the horses were the old chunky plastic horses. So
Yeah, and the chassis
I think
is grounded in comparison to every other
yep,
chassis we're probably going to talk about.
sure. Especially I'm sure we haven't gotten there yet, but the Flying Eagle Chariot,
Oh
the
God, yeah.
Sky Swoop, whatever it is.
Yep. I would say this
Yeah,
is
this
like
is a breath of fresh air.
a B or an A.
Yeah.
Yeah, B. All right. And this kit I really like is the Dragon Princes.
Mm,
I think these look great and are kind of
they're fantastic.
like the Dark Elf ones essentially, but High Elf, and you can tell that difference pretty easily.
And this is an instance where talk about it being just a remake of the metal, but in plastic. That's exactly what they did here. There's no multi-kitting. They just took the old blue armored dragon princes that were in metal that were fantastic, and they just made them in plastic.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And like I've seen so many people use these as blood knights instead of those
Oh
like
yeah,
$120 at the time, I think metal or fine cast blood knights. So,
yeah,
and yeah, they look great. I think these belong in S tier.
yeah. They're right up there with the Coleman Knights. I think they're really fantastic.
Yeah. Um, and we've got another really awkward looking dragon. I think this one's even worse than the Dark Elf one,
This
personally.
this is an F for me. This is so bad. The high elf one. Oh my god.
All right, good, good. Glad to hear
This
that.
is. I don't even want to talk about it. Just throw it down there.
And then we've got the High Elf Lord kit. This is like the Empire kit where you have one mounted and one dismounted, make a BSB and stuff. Um, I think some of the heads looked a little silly, actually, on this one. But
This also like the chunkiness of these sets because all the sets they're a little bit thick and it works really well with the orcs because who cares?
yeah,
But for the elves, they just don't have the finesse that I would want in like an elf character.
no.
So I would put them a tier down, maybe below the Empire ones, whatever those are.
I think we put them in B. Yeah, C sounds right, actually. Because, like, there are still good bits here and stuff, but
But
they
there's
just.
still some cool bits in there. Yeah.
Elves shouldn't look very chunky. Um, the High Elf Lore Master. This single character is actually. I don't know. I actually really like the sculpt. I like the pose. He's kind of iconic for me. I've seen him so much. I don't know. I kind of like him.
Yeah, he's cool, and I don't remember this one being in plastic though, but I guess it was. It is a cool sculpt though. Yeah, throw him in B or even A. He's
Uh, Is he as cool as the sorcerer? See, yeah.
No,
No, I
I
don't
guess
think so.
not.
Yeah, he doesn't have the versatility also of the sorceress that I think
That's
she
a good
has.
point.
Um, and the all right, here's the dumb chariot. We've got the Lothran Skycutter, and I think this kit made a different. There was two versions of it, and one of them is dumber, I think, because it has like two platforms that are separated. If I'm remembering it correctly.
This is the one that had like a bolt thrower in the back,
Yeah, it
right? Like
does. Yeah,
it's like the most ridiculous concept of like somebody got really high and they were like, okay, we're gonna take a chariot and it's gonna be flying around with an eagle and then it's gonna shoot bolts out of the back and it was like, bro, what are you talking
how
about?
does this
This is
work?
yeah, none of this makes any sense.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's a shame too because the eagle actually, I remember like the eagle itself being kind of a cool design.
Yeah,
But yeah, conceptually, it's pretty dumb.
could have made just a giant eagle with some sort of platform on his back.
Right? Right. Why even just give me a multi set of two eagles? Like every high elf and wood elf player would snatch that up in a heartbeat.
E or F? What do you think?
E.
Yeah,
Because again, it doesn't look bad. It's just dumb, right? Like
yeah,
it
that's true.
doesn't have any like proportion issues or anything.
All right. And like the other command sets, they also had a mage one specifically where you
Yeah,
got
the wizards one, right?
yeah. Um I don't think this is as good as like the Empire Wizards. I don't think it's as good as like the High Elf even Lords. Like they're a little bit chunky. I do like the platform on the dismounted one specifically.
Yeah, I think there was even like multiple options for that platform too. There was
Yeah.
like the books that were like tilted. You could put it on that, or you could put it on like an energy blast or something. So
Yeah.
that was cool.
Um the mounted one just doesn't look like anything special, honestly.
Nah.
I'm okay with putting this in C. Yeah, I don't think it belongs in D, but C. Oops. And then we've got the Phoenix Guard and White Lions, I believe. Yeah, I think it made both of them, if I'm not.
I think those were two separate
Oh,
kits
maybe you're
actually.
right. Oh, no, they are separate kits. Never mind. I have the White Lions over here. You're right. Okay.
Yeah, this is one instance where like thank God they didn't just try to multi-kit this.
See, in my head, I
Because
thought they did it just now.
well, listen, because Games Workshop of today would absolutely be doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, these are the Phoenix Guard first, right?
Yeah,
Is what you
Phoenix
said.
Guard. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't really like these. They were a little thick for me, especially because the old, again, talking about the metal sculpts they replaced. Those ones are really good.
Yeah, they are.
Um, so they're just a little static and thick. What do you think?
Yeah, like it works for the Chaos Warriors for how static they work. It does not look good on these, and like high elves shouldn't look chunky. And they're so monopose. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're probably like a C for me.
sure.
Um, and then, oh God, another terrible model in my opinion is the Phoenix, and like, ugh, God.
Every release has to have a centerpiece model, right? And that's
Yeah,
what
true.
happened here.
Well,
Even that this is like one of the clearest, dumbest instances of a multi-part model that didn't need, or a multi-option model that didn't need. Like, why did you have to have a frost and a fire version of this thing?
and the thing is, it's not dynamic at all. It's just got its wings
No.
out, and that's it. And then there's somebody riding it, which also makes it look even dumber.
Yeah.
um, and I hate it more because like I remember in eighth edition seeing like two in every high elf list, and it was
Well,
so
because the fire one could come back to life, right? They didn't have that rebirth rule.
yeah.
That's why everybody
You'd
took
see
it.
one of each, I think, because the
Uh,
frost the it was something with casting. I think every time you casted a spell or successfully or something, it would gain a
yeah.
bonus for whatever reason. Um,
Yeah, this is like an E for me, probably.
yeah, I gotta go with E. All right. The Shadow Warriors. I think this one was actually pretty decent. Got
Hear
any?
me out. So hear me out. This is an instance where I think this set was made worse because it was a multi-set. Because this is the one where it was like Sisters of
Yeah,
Avalorn and Shadow Warriors, right? So as a result, again, imagine because the Shadow Warrior metal sculpts that these were replacing, where they were like creeping around and like looking really, like roguish archer types,
yep,
like rangers. They have this weird hybrid design where like they're a little bit like combat archers, like Sisters of Avalorn. They're a little bit Shadow Warriors, so they look too armored to be Rangers. And I think this is like one tier below where they should be,
Mm,
just because of this like hybrid design concept of it
that's
being.
I actually forgot that the sisters were in this kit too. To be honest,
Yeah.
that's very fair. Um, yeah, that's a shame. You're kind of right. Like the metal ones do look pretty much better because you're right. Like they are a bit more armored, which doesn't make sense for a rogue like
Even the
ambushing.
poses that they're in, yeah, they look
That's
like they're
true.
in like fighting poses versus ambushing. Yeah.
So what do you think? Like a C or a D?
Yeah, I was gonna say like had they done this design properly, because again, what's here is nice. Like the sculpting is okay.
Yeah,
It's just the posing and the armor that don't look right. And I think it would be like a B set, and then instead now it's a C because you went with weird hybrid.
yeah, that's very fair. Next up, we've got White Lions. Um, I think these are okay. I don't have much to say about them. They're. It's weird because they look way more in line with something from sixth edition, in my opinion. Like,
Hmm.
uh, they they're not as static, in my opinion, as like a lot of the other infantry sculpts are. Um, I don't know. I thought this was a good kit.
Yeah, this is a good instance of like the balance that we're looking for, right? When we criticize like the witches for being too dynamic and then certain sets for being too static. This is one where I think that they did a good job in kind of threading that needle. So this is probably like a B set for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like basically, they're just replacing the metal ones. Like they're not that different, to be honest.
Mm-mm. No, they again, thank God they didn't make it a multi kit with the Phoenix card.
Yeah. Um, all right, that was it for high elves. Like I said, I just didn't add the
Sure.
Island of Blood ones. Like it was what the Lothran Sea Guard, Sword Masters. Oh, there was a bad Griffin in there too. I remember.
Yeah, the Griffin wasn't great, but like the Lothar Seaguard and the Swordmasters were really good.
Yeah, they
Like
were.
the shame was that because you could only get them through the Island of Bloodstarter, everybody had these weird multiples of the command options. Like,
Yeah. Oh, and the
so yeah, I get like,
Illyrian Reavers are in that too.
yeah, they are. Those are great.
Yeah. Okay. On to Lizardmen, which got some. It took a long time, I think, for them to actually get some like more plastic models in their line.
Yeah,
'Cause
plastic dinosaurs. Yeah.
yeah. And we're starting here with the Bastildon. Um, honestly, I don't think I'm gonna have a lot of problem with a lot of the Lizardman units because they're just
Mm-mm. No,
dinosaurs.
they're
Base, like I don't know.
yeah, they didn't do anything too weird, right? They're all firmly mid tier for me. Like Basilodon's a great example of like this is like a C kit for me. Like this is
Yeah,
again, any criticism I have of like the design is inherent to it just being this like tank dinosaur. That it's
yeah.
there's
Um, and then the Carnosaur, I think is this made three separate things. I think there was like just the Carnosaur on its own, the Carnosaur with the rider, and then the Troglodon. The Troglodon
yeah,
is bad. the
yeah. I saw someone and for you can edit this out if you don't want me to say it on your channel, but somebody once called it the Troglodong. And ever
yeah,
since,
yeah, it's
every time I see it, I can't unhear it.
yeah. No, I'm with you on that. Um, I don't know. I think like the Carnosaur itself though is good.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. I like the design of it. Even that they kind of branched out. This is like a Jurassic World kind of hybrid dinosaur, right? Where they took like a Carnotaurus and gave it longer limbs, so it's some kind of like mammalian version of a dinosaur.
Yeah,
So it's cool. It looks aggressive as hell, and it looks dangerous, which is obviously what the design is. So this is probably like a B set for me.
yeah, I would agree with that. Like the Troglodon, just who cares about that anyways? You're not gonna make it.
Yeah, just ignore it.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and then the Ripperdactyl and Pterodactyl, and I don't even remember the difference between the two. Honestly, I think one
Mm,
has
it was
like
the snouts.
oh, it's the snouts. You're right. Okay.
Yeah, so the pterodons look like proper. The pterodon's a good start of the set. The riperdactyls are silly, but they had like little like piranha heads that would go on the front, and they had a rule where they were like bloodthirsty or something. Like you would
Right.
mark a unit on the other side. Anyway,
And the other ones have
yeah,
like bombs attached to their like legs or something. I remember, or like some sort of balls.
yeah, they can drop rocks. Yeah,
Yeah.
the pterodons good. So the pterodons look good, especially like some of the accessories get a little wonky once you start adding in like some like the larger like rock fling
Yeah.
things. But the core like dinosaurs, which is kind of what I'm focused on, look pretty good.
Yeah. Exactly. Just don't add the silly accessories basically, and they look good.
Mm-hmm.
C, B.
Yeah, C or B, something like that.
I'm gonna just say C because some of those bits are just meh. Even if you don't use them, still it's like a lot of kit for them. And the Saurus Warriors. This felt like such a 6th edition kit, and maybe it was designed for that, but I'm pretty sure this came out in 7th because they were metal for a long time, I'm pretty sure.
Are these
Uh,
the Temple Guard?
no, the Saurus Warriors, the cold one, uh, like the dinosaur riders.
Oh, yeah, no, these were a later ad that came out around the same time, I think, as the like Warriors of Chaos. The No, because those were sixth edition. Anyway, again, time
Yeah,
is a construct, and it's all meaningless at this point.
yep.
So yeah, these are a shame. These did come out before the seventh edition Dark Elf cold ones, but these were definitely chunkier, weren't they?
Yeah, they just look worse in every way, the cold
Mm-hmm.
ones. And again, it's not really a fun kit to build because it's just all like just dinosaur. It's just all scale. There's nothing else to it. Like it works
Yeah,
for like the big dinosaurs. It doesn't work well for the smaller stuff like this. So I think this is like a
yeah,
D. Um,
yeah. I think D is fair.
okay, and then they got. I believe they only got one hero character, and it was a skink priest. Um, I don't think it's anything crazy, but I don't think it's terrible. He just looks like a generic kind of wizard for them, like a skink priest wizard should.
Yeah, it's fine. I would call it a C.
Yeah. All right, and then the Stegodon. I recently built this kit. Um,
What'd you think?
it's fun to build. It's easy to build. I thought it would take me longer. Um, it works well for the lizardmen, and I think it's a bit more of a. It's a better centerpiece model, that's for sure, than a
Yeah,
lot of the other like monsters. Um, and yeah, it's got some cool options. I don't know. It fits the theme well. I think it's like a good B.
yeah. This is one instance where I actually think they did a good job. Where like the original design was clearly just a Stegosaurus with a howdah on the back,
Yeah, exactly.
and here they've come up with like their own much thicker dinosaur.
Yeah,
But I think it works well.
and it's a bit more detailed and everything. The older one, really, you can see the age on it. Um,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, B is good for me. And then the last one for Lizardman is the Temple Guard.
Yeah, this is another one that's just very static for me. Um,
It's like a
but I guess it
upgraded
works
version
for
of
Temple Guard. But
yeah. It's just
yeah, that's all it is.
yeah. I
So
don't know.
there is some continuity there, at least. Like when you have these Temple Guard next to the old Saurus warriors, that they actually look like they belong from the same edition. But um, yeah, they're not super fun to paint.
No, they're not. I really wish we got to see more armor on them.
Mm,
Like they have some bone helmets. I wish maybe we kept with that theme on them, maybe, or even
that's a
just like
great point.
like I don't know, take some more influence from like the South American tribes that you're clearly doing already, and like take some more inspiration from them. See what they did. I
I guess you're right, because this the main criticism I have here is the one I have with the Saurus, which is that by having a like turtle shell shield right on top of all the scale armor, that's all you're painting. Whereas like the old sculpts, like even the old what was it, fifth edition plastic sculpts that came in the starter set
yeah
that have like the metal or bronze round shields,
yeah
which would have added a little bit of variety to these.
yeah that's
So
for
it's not
sure.
just
And like they clearly can use metal and make metal or stone work. So why are they
yeah,
using hide shields? Yeah. So this is I'd say this is a D.
yeah, throw it in D.
And that's it for Lizardman. I thought they came out with plastic Croxagore, but they didn't. It wasn't.
Nope.
It was only very recently, apparently, actually. So I was shocked by that.
Yeah.
And then we've got ogres, which I'm surprised they even had kits. Actually, I forgot that these kits did not come in 6th. They got, I believe, came out in 8th edition. Actually, I don't think they came out in 7th with these ones. Um, Starting off with
Yeah,
the
they had a couple of later releases of big stuff, which is what I'm sure we're about to go over.
yep. So we've got the Mornfang cavalry to start with. I don't think the beasts look that cool or intimidating, and they look a little silly on them. I don't know.
Yeah, my biggest issue is proportions here. Where the riders look fine, like I think both agreed the ogre design was cool
Yep.
from the last round of models we looked at, but there's no way in hell that those mounts can carry those ogres.
Yeah.
This is not happening. They're gonna break their spines.
And if you look at Forge World made the Rhinox cavalry instead, and that
Yep,
just looks way better.
yep.
But yeah, the riders themselves are fine, and like all these new ogre kits kit bash easily with the older kits as well. So they're all have that in mind as well, which is nice.
If I remember right, I think the Rhinox Cav from Forge World came first, and that these were like not to replace them, but they wanted to have like a plastic version that would
Yeah,
be sold by Games Workshop instead of Forge World. And I think they just couldn't do it, and they needed to scale them down a little bit. So
that makes
thus we
sense.
have the Morn Fangs.
I want to say D.
Yeah, it's a D for me. They just look again. The individual sculpting is fine. It's just that they don't make any sense.
Yeah. And then the Scrap Launcher and Iron Blaster. Um, the Scrap Launcher, I believe, was a metal kit before that. It was a pretty characterful kit too. I remember that was fun.
Uh huh.
Um, the the cannon though looks a bit silly in my opinion, especially
The
since like
cannon, yeah.
it's got one guy I think using it and that's it. I don't think there's two
Yeah,
people.
he's standing in the bag holding it like right, he's like on a aircraft carrier manning a machine gun or something, like holding it in the back. Yeah, I think the scrap launcher is cool. As you said, there's a precedent for the scrap launcher, and it makes sense that like Grotlings would come up with some right Rhinox or Mornfang mounted artillery piece because they're too scared to get into combat. But the problem I have with the ogre cannon is like why would ogres do that, right? Like in the way that like the bloodletter skull cannon like doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I,
You
I
have
just think
lead
it looks.
belchers already, so it's just like a bigger version of a lead belcher, I guess, to some, I
I
think.
guess that's what they're going for. Yeah.
But how is this thing loaded? I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
So the ogre runs to the front to load it and then
Yeah,
runs to the back to
exactly.
fire it.
Yeah, it just looks ridiculous. And it's just like he's. I don't. Pretty sure there's no one also like taking control of the Mornfang that are like using it. I don't know. It just looks weird. I think the scrap launcher looks fine, but the cannon looks bad. I want to call this an
Yeah.
E.
Yeah.
I don't think it deserves F because I think the scrap launcher looks fine, but the
This is the problem with these multi kits too, right? Where it's like it's really hard to rank some of these sets because like one half might be good and the other half might be abysmal. It's like where do you land that kit?
yeah. And then speaking of multiple kit, it's the Stonehorn and Thunder Tusk. I always thought it was weird that we got two monsters from this kit. I know why because more things, but like I was so random because like they almost look the same basically.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I didn't realize they were two monsters. I thought they were just different head options for the Stonehorn. Like
I mean,
so,
it feels that way. It feels like that should have been how it is, but for whatever
yeah.
reason they count as two separate things. I think maybe the hunter can only use the Stonehorn, and the other one, I think the
Yeah,
tyrant can use the Thunder Tusk. I think I could be wrong.
yeah,
But overall, I don't think it's like the worst monster design. It's a little static though, and like I remember seeing games with multiple of them, and they look very samey, even with the different
yeah,
land options. So I don't think it works for that reason. I'd say this is like a C or a D.
yeah. Say C.
All right. Now it's it from ogres, and now we're on to orcs and goblins, which got more kits than I actually remembered,
Hmm.
which is interesting. But to start, we've got a monster, and I think this one I would say is a little more iconic nowadays, or for orcs and goblins, is the Ragnarok spider. Um, I don't know. I think this looks kind of okay, but I think it looks a little more crab-like than a spider.
Yeah, I could see that. This one also came with a lot of cool accessories, goblins up in the Howdah as well. So I actually like this one a lot. It was a real like staple of a lot of games that I played against. Anyway, I never owned it, but
Yeah,
um,
I've seen a lot of good work like conversion works or paint jobs. Maybe it's just the fact that they painted it red throws me off
yeah,
here, but
sure.
um I, yeah, it's good, and like you said, there's a lot of good accessories, and it fits well for the forced goblin theme as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was cool to see them lean into that as well.
Yeah.
Uh, I would say like a B or a C. What do you think?
Yeah. I was thinking B.
Okay, B is cool with me. Next up is the Blackworks.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, they look good. Like they look like Blackworks. They basically are a better version of the metal ones in some ways.
Yep. Yeah, they're
Like,
great. And again, they restrained the temptation to make a multi kit out of them, to make some kind of like black orc gunners or
oh
something.
god, yeah,
So
imagine. Okay.
yeah, this is a great kit. Great options in it. It's really fun to paint, fun to build. Lots of different like weapon accessory options, lots of masks, and anyway, there's lots going on. So this is like a solid A for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. This like Blackworks in general are one of my favorite like helmet designs. I think for like a fantasy
Yeah.
race, I think they look fantastic. Um, yeah, and then we've got Orc Boar Boys. Um, I think the boars in this kit are amazing. They look really
Yeah,
good.
they look fantastic. This is great. This is another A kit for me. These
Yeah,
are great.
it's like so many different options too, for in terms of weapons and stuff, and like
Yep.
they look different from like the older boys kits, but I still kit bash them here and there, and they look okay. I don't honestly, I think this is a good kit, so I would say this is an A for sure.
Yeah.
And then next up, we've got I added them because they're plastic fanatics, and
Yep. Yeah.
they're fine. I don't know. I don't think they're terrible.
Yeah, these are like a B or a C for me. They have a little bit less character than the metal sculpts they were replacing, but
Yeah,
they're good. They were certainly useful, easy to put them together.
yeah. I don't have any real fault with them, but you're right. The metal ones do look a bit better. Um, and then all right, this kit we've talked about a little bit already, especially you, the giant. I put it into the
Hmm.
orcs. It works for I think beastmen and chaos as well, but I think
Yep.
most iconic with the orcs.
And ogres too, actually, now
Oh,
that I
that's
think
right.
about it.
Yeah, ogres could use them as
Yeah.
well. I forgot.
Hmm.
This is a good kit.
Yeah, it's still a good kit. It's again lots of different options in it. They didn't try to make like two different monsters out of it. It's lots of giant accessories
Yeah,
that come in it.
I think.
Even that little like running empire guy
Yeah, exactly.
is on the base.
Yeah, you tell a lot of story with it. It comes with like a squished goblin too. Like,
Hmm.
uh, I think this is like, is this S? What do you think?
Yeah, it's got to be up there, man. It's again, it's so versatile. You can use it in lots of different armies. It still holds up. Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and then a single goblin shaman that looks pretty generic and kind of boring.
Yeah, sure. I
He's
don't know, B
C.
or C.
Yeah, I don't want to put him in D because I don't think he's bad, but I think he's just mediocre. Uh,
Sure.
and then there was we talked a little bit about this in the 6th edition video, the night goblins, because they got a new kit.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
this one, they're more slender. They're a little less oversized, I guess, and ridiculous in that terms. But they lose some character too, I think.
yeah,
And like their faces are very hidden. Like it's just a, if you paint them in black, they're just gonna be almost all black, and you barely paint any green on them, which is kind of a shame. I think this is like a D for me actually.
yeah. I think they made them too small. Like that's one of my issues. And you lose a lot of like careful. Like, there's nothing like fun about them in the way that the sixth edition kits look kind of like silly,
Yep,
right? These yeah look like little gremlins.
yep. I'm with you on that. Um, and then we've got Orc River Trolls.
Oh yeah,
I think this kit is fine. I have them, and like the metal ones don't look that much different, to be honest. Um, Honestly, I always like the artwork more for these than the actual kits or like the models.
yeah,
No
like
matter.
the sixth edition rulebook artwork where they're like throwing up on the Empire soldiers
Yeah,
in the swamp. Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
these are okay. They're bulky like the Minotaurs, and as you said about the demigryphs, like once you have more than three in a unit, they start looking kind of samey. Even with the different options that these come with,
Yep.
I felt that if you have like a unit of 6 or 8, there a lot of like duplication. So I don't
Yeah,
know. See,
C is fine with me. Yeah. And then we've got into the Savage Orc line too. They finally like leaned into it. Like they existed as metal models, I remember, but In 6th edition, they weren't really taken very often, but I remember in 7th, and especially 8th edition, you saw a lot of Savage Orcs, which was kind of cool.
Yep.
And the Boar Boy kit is pretty okay. I actually think it's slightly worse, I guess, just because they're they're ridiculous. And I know orcs are supposed to be ridiculous, but I don't know. They're over the top for me personally.
Yeah.
They work well with the Orc Boy kits for kit bashing reasons. I would say this is like a C or a B.
Yeah. See, that works for me.
Um, and then this is another good hero model. I think the boss, like he's simple, but he's got a lot of character in him. The pose is good, and he looks right for like an orc boss. I don't know.
Yeah, the only problem I have with it is like this, the normal inherent problem of like why is this plastic if it's just like a monopose model? But he's good. It's a good sculpt. B.
Yeah,
Again, they resisted the temptation we see now of like that all the models that Games Workshop designs now for characters have just like so much stuff bolted onto them.
yeah,
So it's kind of refreshing seeing some of these old sculpts that don't do that.
and they don't have like the tactical rock that they're like leaning against
Yeah.
now. And the Savage Orc Boy kit. See, this I like a lot more than the Savage Boar Boy kit. Um, and I think it's good. I really like the big stabba. Like they feel ridiculous, and I think they should be. Um,
Yep.
I don't know. This seems right to me. I'd say this is like a
Yeah.
B or an A for me.
I would even call it an A. Yeah. This is a good set. This also is like why can't you do dwarf slayers like
Yeah,
this, right?
exactly.
Like
That's a good point. Like
yeah.
this solves a lot of the issues of like not being super static as well. Um,
Yep.
yeah. And then we've got the Spider Riders. I think these were from the Skull Pass set. I don't think they actually changed them at all. Um,
No, I don't think so. I don't actually even remember if they released them. Maybe they released them separately, but
they
just
did.
as what are functionally monopose models.
Yeah, I think that's basically what it is, and I think it's the same thing with the Night Goblins basically as well. I think
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
really,
they're
but yeah,
like also like with the Night Goblins like D something for me. Like they're just again when you get a whole bunch of them together, they're very static looking for spiders, right?
yeah, and they don't. They look like they're just sitting on them. They're not actually like riding them. They're just
Yeah.
nah, it doesn't look right. Like, um, then we've got the Orc War Boss kit. So this came with the mounted and dismounted. The boar is atrocious compared to like
Yeah.
the Boar Boys kits. So that's my biggest flaw here. I like some of the head options. The weapons look good. The shields look good.
Yeah, BSB looked good with that giant waving banner.
Yeah.
Very you know, yeah, it's again the boar is really a big letdown because this came before the Boar Boy kit
Yep.
and they did those designs in it, so that part's a shame. So yeah, I don't remember where we put the high elf ones, but it kind of
Yeah, it's
feels the same to me, like a
C.
C.
Yeah. All right. That's it for orcs. We've got Skaven next, and they got some better models. I'll say that.
Yeah, 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 they did.
Starting with the clan rats, I think this is a big improvement.
Huge. Yeah, these I love these. This is a fantastic design.
Yep.
Even the battle for not battle for Skull Pass, the
Island of Blood.
Island of Blood. Yeah, Island of Blood push fit ones were good.
Yep.
They did a great job with the designs here. They really matched some of the old artwork, you know. And yeah, they kind of leaned into this newer. I guess we kind of saw it with like the Eshin stuff from earlier designs, but kind of like Japanese adjacent with some of
Yeah.
like the weapon and armor design. They did a good job.
Yeah, I think this is an A.
Yeah, I think so too. These are great.
Yeah, good change. And then next we've got the Doom Wheel. Fits the theme, I think, well. It looks
Yep.
cool, and it's a good, like, iconic piece. And you want to talk about a centerpiece model? I think this looks what good for something on the board. It's a big. I hate assembling this thing though. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you want to paint it separately. Like there's a ton of like little rats in the hamster wheel. Um, yeah, it's just a cool looking kit. It's just a shame that it's gonna take some effort to paint, and it's not a good kit for beginners. I'll say that as well.
Yeah.
Um, that being,
But I like the look. I would call it a B.
yeah, I think B just because I think it would be A if it wasn't just for ease of painting and ease of assembly, essentially. Um,
Yeah.
basically. And the old one was metal, right?
It was actually. I think it even skipped an edition where like it didn't exist in sixth edition, and then it
Yeah,
came back in seventh edition.
I think it looked really different. I think too. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
And then we've got a singular Gracier. He looks fine. He's got some good character to him. I
yeah.
have seen some conversions with this one too that actually looked decent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
Mm.
people using him for actually I think for like human like evil wizards or necromancers actually.
Hmm.
Um,
Cool.
yeah, I think this is a cool one though. I would say this is like a B.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking I was gonna rate some of those like singular posed characters worse, but like I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with them. It's just like why are they plastic? Like you said, like
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the only criticism I have. And again, looking back at some of these sculpts, it's like, damn, I wish Games Workshop sculpted characters like this again. Like
right,
that, it just show a little restraint, right? That not everything has to, as you say, be on a tactical rock or have like floating bits.
yeah,
Uh,
I don't
but I
know.
guess that's the difference. Is now they're charging like $30 for a single character model, so they're trying to find a way to justify it.
Yeah, I mean, some of the new Forge World heroes for Old World. I don't know if you've looked at them. They're not good. Like
Mm,
some people really like the Nuln guy, but he looks really stupid. In my opinion.
yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, and even the Bretonians, the new Bretonians, don't look good either. Like the dismounted knights in specific. But uh, enough of that. The Skaven lightning cannon and the Plague Claw catapults.
Oh yeah,
The
another
catapult.
one that I think suffered from being a multi-kit, as far
Yeah,
as I'm concerned.
I agree with you. Like I think the cannon looks fine, but the catapult looks really stupid.
Yeah, and if you hadn't designed the catapult at all, you could have had a lower center of gravity for the cannon. Because even when it's tilted like and built correctly,
It's
it's
tall.
still I think too high up. It looks like a catapult chassis with a gun on top.
Yeah,
So whereas the old design was much lower to the ground, just had like wheels strapped straight onto the cannon. So um,
I'd say
yeah,
that.
it's this is like a C.
Yeah, a lot of good like detail work on it though for sure. Like all the
Yeah, it is.
berserking.
It's fun to paint.
Yeah. And then another one with a lot of detail, but I think some big issues is the Plague Furnace Screaming Bell. Um, Again, like I think they were trying to lean into the plague thing, I guess. But they never even made a new Plague Monk kit, which makes even less
No.
sense. So,
No, I think this is another just instance of like we're gonna start with the core belief that we're gonna make this into two separate sets. Like it has to be two sets. What are the two? And of course, one's gonna be the Screaming Bell.
hmm,
So what's the other thing gonna be? I don't know. Some kind of giant furnace for the plague priests. I don't know.
yeah,
So
yeah, and the Screaming Bell I think looks fine. Like it's a big step up from the old model too. It's a lot bigger. It looks more impactful, and it's more of a centerpiece, I would say. But it just doesn't deliver it. I think. I don't know. I would say this is like
yeah,
a D.
yeah, probably. Again, if it had just been like one single, this is kind of what I felt about like the not the arcane engines, but I guess the arcane engines were the problem that came off of the War Altar, where it's like just design one really good kit and give me some cool accessories. Like even like how this for a concept, give me like two different bell options for my screaming bell, right? Like you could have done something like that instead of just designing an entirely different set. But of course, their goal is not to sell one good set; it's to sell two. They want you to buy both a screaming bell and a plague furnace.
Yeah, yeah. I think this has got to go into D personally.
Yeah, throw it in D. But there are some. It's a shame too because there are some good like details to paint, like all the rotten wood that's all throughout all the
Yeah,
Skaven designs of this era is just really well done.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Basically, it is a shame. Like I think this would just be way higher if it was just for the Screaming Bell, but
Yep.
nah. One kit I think I forgot to put in here is actually the Hell Pit Abomination. I think
I
that kit's
am.
good. Um, it just looks like a freaky monster. I think it's supposed to be a freaky monster. I'd say like it's a
Yeah.
B, probably.
Yeah, probably a B for me. It's another instance though where like when you start having multiple on the table, they're all going to look kind of
Same.
the same.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's a unit that just feels like you want to convert something for, anyways. Like, I don't know.
that's true.
It shouldn't ever look the same. All right. And then this is, I think, our first end time unit. It's the Storm Fiends.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and I remember these things being complete, like, bull. Like, I think they got like 9d6 shots hitting on like fours or something. It was ridiculous amount of like
Yeah.
gun. So I have some bad taste with just the rules. I always hated them for that. But I think they're like okay. I kind of like the idea of rat ogres like with armor and stuff, and they leaned into more of that warp block technology. And it's the end time, so things are gonna go a bit crazy. Not the funnest kit to assemble, and a lot of fiddly bits that always like broke off. Like they have like these little weird warp stones on them that could easily break.
Yeah, I just hated the design. That's what it comes down to. Is that again we're now firmly in the high concept phase of Games Workshop design, that they've kind of shifted the lever all the way over to the Warcraft side of things, and now this is like, this isn't even steampunk. This is just sci-fi, right? This looks like
Yeah.
a space marine rat monster. So
Yep. And
yeah,
I remember a lot of people calling them Space Marine rats, basically, or just like you
yeah.
could.
Even if they were painted blue, like the original, because I guess
Yeah.
Skyry, like they want to have like, a different color scheme. But yeah, they're just ultramarine rats, right? Like it's what they look
It's
like.
true. And like I have seen conversions for them to be just chaos like obliterators for 40k. So
Yeah, that's a great use case for these, actually.
yeah.
Even the weapons they come with.
Uh, I don't know. D.
Yeah, probably do.
All right. And then we've got Storm Vermin.
Oh yeah.
Which I guess this is like better, but not by much. I think in terms of like the metal ones, they are
No,
like
I love those metal sculpts that looked like they were surging forward, like with their halberds
yeah.
forward.
This is like the Phoenix Guard, basically. I think in terms of like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where
armor.
it's like a lateral move. It's not really, and they're huge, by the way,
Yeah,
too.
they
Like if
are.
you've ever dealt with these, they barely fit on 20 millimeter squares.
Yeah, that's very true. They are hard to rank up as well. That's a good point. Yeah, this is probably a C.
Yeah.
Good bits in there too, but like the metal ones are still better, like the Phoenix Guard
Yeah.
essentially. And then we've got two more end time models. We've got Thanquil. What are your thoughts on this guy?
I actually did like this. This is one that I got. I used this as a separate Hell Pit Abomination
Oh,
in
that's
one of my
cool.
armies. Yeah, it was fun, and I really enjoyed it. I thought this was good. What do you think?
I actually don't think I've have much experience with this model. Thanquil has been an iconic character, so it was cool to see him come back and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? It doesn't look like a space rat, so you know what? That's definitely an improvement. So what are you
Sure,
gonna look?
this is what the Storm Fiend should have been, right? Like, just give me
True.
a scaled down version of this guy for those. Show a little more skin, less Space Marine shoulder pad armor.
Yeah.
So,
What do you think? B, A?
yeah, probably a B. I wouldn't give it an A. Again, it is still functionally a monopose model. There
Yeah,
were
it is.
some, if I remember right, there were some options, but not a lot.
Okay. Um, and then there was the Vermin Lord, and this had four options, I think, because there was like a Scryer one, an Eshin one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that was kind of cool. I like the idea behind the model too, like a big, and like it's the end time, so we got to have the big baddies out. So that is the time of it. Some of the weapon choices I think were dumb looking though. Um,
Sure, there's the one that's like leaning on the spear, kind
yeah,
of. That's
yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
yeah.
Did they exist? No, they did have a metal model. I think a long, long time ago, actually. If I'm not
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely they did. Yeah,
okay, wasn't there a
yeah. Then
big
I
one?
don't.
I can't remember.
Well, it was just the Doom Lord, right? Or
Oh,
the yeah, and it had like the crazy OP weapon because it was like a rat demon.
yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I don't think there was like a character. It was like the Green Knight. It just is, right? Like
Okay. Um,
yeah, this is okay. It was just fiddly, and as you said, some of the weapon options were less cool than others. So this is probably like a C for me.
yeah, I'm okay with C actually. Yeah, like I think there's also a ton of good conversion ideas you can do with it to make the model better. Um, and it's cool that it has a bunch of different bits and stuff and weapon choices, which I think work well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've got another monopose Skaven Warlord. I didn't even I looked this up because I thought this was just a metal model actually for a long time. It's just a
Mm.
and I thought maybe it came with the Island of Blood, but that one is different looking than this one also. So
It is. It's got a different back banner, and he's got two weapons
yeah,
like off to the sides. He is on a tactical rock.
yeah, he is. His pose is a little weird, I'd say too, and probably a little awkward to put in a regiment as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, probably a C.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with the model too much, but ranked up, he's gonna look not so great in my opinion, especially with
no,
like a large rock platform, and then the rest of your
yeah,
troops not on a rock platform is gonna look odd.
right.
And that's it for Skaven.
All
Um,
right,
we've got undead stuff now, and
okay.
we've got Tomb Kings, we've got the Necropolis Knights and Sepulchral Stalkers, and this
I
is
thought these were so dumb, dude.
part of me wants to like them, but it's one of those I like the idea, but the execution doesn't look good for me. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
the knights look ridiculous on the snakes, and the sepulchral stalkers look really awkward. It would have just been better if they were just those necropolis snakes instead. That was it.
yep. I agree.
um, and there's something weird about the skeletons from this kit too, and it looks really weird with the rest of the army. Like they're thicker, and especially their skulls. And we're gonna talk about the vampire counts in a second because those are way better than these. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on with them. Um, but I think this kit has a lot of cool like bits and stuff, and like a lot of Egyptian like themed weapons and stuff you could use, or even for like making terrain, you could use a lot of the bits from this too.
yeah,
But as models, like you said, it's just those riders look stupid, and I think the
yeah. They're
sep
surfing on snakes. I can't really see past it.
yeah. And what about the sepulchral stalkers? You got any thoughts on
They're
them?
definitely better. Yeah, they're an improvement. Those are the ones with the halberds, right?
Yeah, they
The
got the
like top
halberd.
half.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Those are definitely cooler because at least it's not right. The, surfing a snake,
yeah,
right? It's but yeah, this is like a deke for me.
yeah.
I just think it's goofy.
Yep. Um, and the tomb guard. I don't know if this is an improvement, but there's a lot of good bits here. I just wish the proportions, like that, for whatever reason, that they look so thick, and
Hmm.
which is a bit bothersome. I like some of the helmets, especially like the ones with like the pharaoh-like mask. I wish they leaned into that a bit more, actually.
I think they kept them thick on purpose because they had no intention of redoing the core skeletons for the Tomb Kings, which are, as we've talked about, just the old sixth edition
Yeah,
skeletons. So I think they, unlike the vampire count ones, which we'll get to, where they redid the skeletons and then thus made the grave guard a little bit proportioned better with those. Here they were like, screw it, like let's just make them big.
yeah. That's probably the. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Where it's just the case of they would look a little too weird beside the the two just skeletons and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Where did you put this? Because I was thinking C.
I was thinking C. Yeah,
Okay,
just right in the middle of the pack there.
a lot of cool bits. Like I think they look okay on their own too, but like they look a little bit weird with the rest of the army. But that's like Tomb Kings in general. It's such a mismatch.
Hmm.
Even and
True.
nothing changed for them in current edition too. There's
Yep.
still the old skeletons and still these tomb guards, so it
Yep.
sucks. And then we've got the Tomb King. Um, I think he's
This is a
okay.
good sculpt. This is another one that I didn't realize was plastic, but yeah, he looks
Yeah,
good. Maybe like a B.
yeah. I was thinking B sounds right. Yeah, actually, I don't have a problem. Maybe the weapon's a bit oversized for me personally.
Hmm.
But he is a hero, right? Um, yeah, you know what? I'm okay with B. And then we've got the War Sphinx and Necro Sphinx.
Hmm.
And I really don't. I do not like the Necro Sphinx. I can see where they're going for.
No.
It's very Scorpion King vibes for sure. I know where they were going with it, but for me, it just looks dumb, and I hate its face, like the just the skull face in particular. I don't like. Uh,
All of it's just very over the top for me. Like in both cases, it's just like it just needs some editing, maybe.
yeah,
It's like
I
what is this thing, right? Like that's what I come back to. Like what is it trying to? Anyway, there's just so much you could have done, even from like taking ancient Egyptian artwork, right, to make some kind of like monstrous creature. And I don't think they did that. This feels more like again like a Warcraft design
yeah, they leaned
kind of.
into the construct theme, like same with
Yep.
the Necropolis Knights and everything. They could have just leaned
Yep.
into Like, just make it an undead cat or sphinx. That would have been way
Yep.
cooler. Um, and like clearly they have bone creatures because they have horses and they have the bone dragon now. So this thing
Right.
could have just been a like a just a skeleton cat, and that would have been awesome. I think that would have been
Even
really
just
cool.
like a bone elephant or something like
Oh
that,
yeah,
right? That would
no,
have been
that'd
like
be sick.
regionally appropriate, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Bone crocodile. Like, there's so many different like
Mm-hmm.
Egyptian themes you could have gone with, but instead you went with a weird marbled construct.
Construct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. C D. Maybe
Yeah, I was
D.
even thinking E, man. So
Oh
maybe
wow.
D would be.
D
Yeah, I
D.
really don't like this kit.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Also, like, okay, its platform is really small, and I think it's supposed to have
Yeah.
like 4 guys in it, and it seems way too tight
Yeah.
for that. It's a shame. They really screwed up the Tomb Kings, I think, with new releases too. That
Mm-hmm.
sucks. Their new stuff that came out for Old World looks a lot better for them. I'll say that, but
Yeah.
eh. All right. Vampire counts, and there's a decent amount of vampire count stuff actually. I remember
No,
all
yeah, look at that.
this was like one of the more excited. Actually, this got me really excited when a lot of this stuff came out. It really got me into vampire counts. So we'll start with the Banshee. And I think the Banshee's okay. Nothing super good. I don't like the
Yeah,
hair that much. I think it's maybe a little too much. But other than that, I think it's a cool model.
I think it's good. B for Banshee.
B for Banshee. There we go. Simple. And then we've got Black Knights next. You know what? It would probably make more sense to talk about the skeletons first, then the Graveguard, then Black Knights, maybe. Because
Sure, let's do
all,
it.
all, all three of these kits are probably going to be related to each other. So, starting with,
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love this skeleton kit. This is probably one of my favorite kits that ever came out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any problems with this kit, but
I don't. The only problem I have is this is something that is consistent all throughout the vampire line is that they have everything look like there's wind blowing behind them.
mhm,
So like all of the cloth is blowing forward, the like ribbons tied to their spears are blowing forward. I just think it was unnecessary. Like you didn't have to do that.
yeah,
So that's my only criticism, but it's not a major one. I think it's great generic gothic horror in all cases, and the skeletons really exemplify that.
yeah. Like I said, probably one of my favorite kits of all times. So many bits, good, like just good looking weapons. The proportions are fantastic.
Yeah.
Even if you're not playing vampire accounts or an undead army, having just skeleton bits is just
Yep.
so useful. This kit,
I've seen some great Tomb King conversions using these.
yeah, 100% use these for Tomb Kings. It's so easy. And you just replace their shields, and there you go.
Yep.
So for me, this is a S. Like, this is my. I think this is the best skeleton kit that's ever come out, personally.
It's pretty fantastic. Yep.
All right, and then so we talked about them, so I think it's fair to talk about the Graveguard, which I think are worse, unfortunately. You know, I think they do look gothic still, but I think their armor looks a little bit too big in proportion to the rest of them, and I kind of get why
Yeah.
it would be, but I don't know, it doesn't look right.
Yeah, for me, like if we're like if we have S tier for the skeletons, I would say it's like B tier for the Graveguard and A tier for the Black Knights because the Black Knights have like I think their weapons make more sense,
Yep.
whereas the Graveguard weapons in particular look a little bit chunky and unrealistic. So
Yeah, yeah. I actually, you know what? That makes a lot of sense to me. Um, yeah, the Black Knight, and don't forget this also makes the Hex Wraiths. Uh,
yeah, it's true.
Hex Wraiths, I don't think are terrible. I think they are slightly worse looking than the Black Knights, but like I think they're still cool in concept and like all the flames and stuff look good. And for a multi kit, this kit works really well. Like they look very different from each other.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. I mean, honestly, I forgot they were a multi-kit. That's how successful it was
yep,
that you could use those bits as two very different looking units, right?
yep. And I like any like multiple kits where you can use bits from all three of these to make different, looking guys.
That's true.
And also like the horses themselves on the Black Knights look good.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Yeah, really good.
yeah. Okay. Next up is the corpse cart, and I think this is also pretty good. Um, Maybe I want more corpses in the corpse cart. uh,
Yeah, a little underladen, isn't it? I also don't like the zombie design as much. Like the zombies carrying the cart are not as strong, I think, but they're fine. I guess it is a take it or leave it kind of thing. They're much more Blanchian, aren't they?
Yeah, they
From
are.
a art direction standpoint. So people that like Blanche artwork are gonna love them.
Yeah, that would
Um,
that would be me. I do like this kid a
yeah, I was
lot.
just gonna say, I believe that would be you.
Yeah, I
So
lean into the grimdark stuff a bit, and
yeah,
like I do really like this kit. And it's kind of surprising that we didn't see zombies like this.
nope.
So that's the one problem I think with this kit is that it looks so separate from the rest of the army. No matter what, like it looks
Mm,
so different from everything else. Like
yeah,
the zombies look a little out of place. I was thinking maybe B or C.
yeah, but B.
All right, B. Oh yeah, and it comes with two different necromancer. Well, like they have like different weapon options.
Right.
And they do
Yeah, the
look.
lodestone or the bell up top too.
Yeah, that's right. And I think those bits are fine. It actually comes with a lot of good bits too. Like if you want corpses and stuff, like you can make good use of this kit with that. And
Yeah, it's neat.
it comes with bats and rats as well in it. I think as well.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, a lot of cool,
fun.
fun accessories. Uh, Direwolves. I think this is one of the weaker of the releases. It's not like the
Yeah,
old ones were great, but these ones aren't good either.
they're just thick. They got a weird proportion thing going on. Kind of the same thing as the Warriors of Chaos wolves have
Yeah.
some weird like hunchback proportions going on. So
Uh,
yeah, this is like a C for me.
yeah. I was thinking even D.
Sure.
Like, they're too chunky in my opinion. And like, I just I personally use the space wolves like wolves instead. They just
The
look better.
Fenrisian wolves, yeah.
Yeah, they're just better. All right, and this kit also have a lot of problems with the ghouls. Oh my god, what a difference in terms of what they looked like. Holy cow.
Yeah, was not a fan of the ghoul, especially given where we came from in sixth edition, right?
Yeah. Instead of like these weird, creepy, still human people, we get these weird beast hunchbacks instead.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, I was not a big fan of this set.
no. I think it's got some neat
Severe.
bits, and there's some good conversion work for this. I don't think it works for ghouls though.
No. It's probably a D for me.
Yeah, I'm with D on that too. Uh, and then we've got some of the end time stuff here now. And the first one I absolutely hate. The Morghast. This is
Oh
like
yeah, this is bad.
super Warcraft. I hate assembling them. I no. They're so dumb. No, that
Yeah, firmly F tier for me.
yeah.
Don't even don't even need to talk about them.
All
They're
right.
awful.
And then there's the Mortarks. I put them. I think were they? Yeah, it's the same kit to make all three of them. It was like Archon the Black, Neferata, and Manfred von Karstein.
These are just as bad for me. Like maybe an E, but like these are bad. Like I just don't like the design. They're all in like these floating, like
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know what
skeletal
these things
constructs.
are. And yeah, you can tell it's the end times, and we're really leaning into high fantasy territory almost.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. I think the riders look fine,
Yeah, I agree.
but I don't think that makes them go into E tier just for that. Oh, gosh, all right, and I actually like this model. I bet I have a feeling you probably don't, but I want to hear your thoughts on the Gash.
Actually, I don't hate it as much.
Oh, okay.
For a centerpiece model and for one that was so central to the end times, I think they did a decent enough job with it. This is probably like a C for me. Um, what do you think?
For me, so I like the base model a lot, but every one of them, I've made five of them, because
Oh, jeez.
yeah, I've built and painted five of them, but all of them were conversions too, like where I did different things on them, and there was always something I changed about it because I didn't like it. So I can't say it's a perfect model for sure. And I think he looks way better with his sword. I think his staff looks a bit dumb too. Um, Yeah, I should be a bit more realistic and probably keep it as C, to be honest. I can't put myself in putting it at a B or an A just because I think he looks. I like the idea of him a lot, and I like him as a centerpiece. But I've always done something to change him up, basically. So
Sure, I mean, well, you got to admit too, like he's definitely an improvement over the old Clown Nagash model, right? One of the worst models Games Workshop has ever produced.
I don't know what you're talking about. That model's excellent. So,
You can have all of them.
all right, and actually, this hero I think is actually one of the best heroes they came out with. The Necromancer.
Oh yeah, he's great. That's an A. That thing's
Yeah.
fantastic.
No, this is a sick like model. And he just looks. It. They did a great job with him. So yeah, easy talk there. The Spirit Hosts. I want to like them, but man, A, they're such a pain to assemble, and B, they're so fiddly and just they're not right. But I still
Was
think,
this an End Times release? I
yeah,
don't
it
even
was.
remember
It
this.
was an end times.
Wow.
Yeah, and they kind of look like Nagash's like ghosts around him, and they kind of look like the
Mm,
oh, I forgot another kit, the Mortis Engine kit.
I was just gonna say that we're missing one because
Yeah,
that was a decent set. It was another one that was just like ridiculously over the top and huge.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
would,
because you're right. These ghosts are kind of like the Mortis Engine ghosts too, aren't they?
yeah. Except they're like way more fiddly, of course, and like
Mm,
they're top heavy a bit. But like they're replacing the old Halloween ghosts, depending on what you feel, how you feel about them. This could be an improvement. Personally, I think they're like okay-ish. I would say this is a D. I don't think this is an E.
sure. I actually don't even know that I can comment on this one because I really
Oh,
just
fair
don't
enough.
remember this set. So,
They look a lot more in line with like their night haunt stuff nowadays too. I would say.
sure.
Um, because I forgot, we'll talk about the Coven Throne and Mortis Engine. I like the idea. I'm not a big fan of the, I guess, the ghosts holding it a bit. I don't know. It never felt like they were ghosts to me, or it didn't feel right. What do you think?
It's it's kind of like the concept of like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, right?
Right.
Like it's just the opposite, where like the individual components are all really cool, but like when you put them all together, it's way dumber than
Yeah.
the individual like vampire pieces or the ghost pieces. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's probably a D for me just because it's so ridiculous. But the individual like bits are all super cool. I've seen lots of neat conversions by like taking the vampires off or
Yep.
like turning the ghosts into banshees, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. 100% in agreement there. D works. And then I think this is the best dragon kit from this era. I guess is the Terrorgeist and the zombie dragon.
Yeah, this is really good. The only thing I didn't like was the surfing Strigoi vampire lord on top on
No, he doesn't
the
look
one option, but
good on top.
yeah.
No, but
But you could ignore him. Otherwise, the kit's really solid.
yeah, I would say this is like a B or an A.
I would say A. Yeah, I think it's great,
Yeah,
especially given how bad all the other dragons are.
yeah, I know. It's just like we have barely any like monsters in even B. Like, so this is like,
Mm,
you know, I guess for a centerpiece model, this is good. Um,
yep.
and it's a shame too because I don't think you ever really got to see the zombie dragon like very often taken in 8th or 7th. It was mostly like no, people would take the Terrorgeist a lot because you do the
Yeah,
scream.
everybody. It was. You take like two terror guys. Yeah, they were
Yeah,
awful.
yeah, which is a shame because I thought the zombie dragon was so sick. But yeah, c'est la vie.
Yeah, with like the blood dragon vampire up top.
Yeah, and he looks good
Yeah, he was
too.
cool. Yeah.
And then Vargeist and Crypt Horrors. Not good in my opinion, either one. But Vargeist's even worse, I guess.
Yeah, the Var guys were goofy. Like they made no sense because like they were arms with wings on them, but they were like not in any kind of flying position. It was like yeah, you can even see kind of in the thumbnail there. They're like attacking with their wing arms like they're blades.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess the crypt horrors were better, but it was clear they just wanted like a monstrous infantry set for the vampires and had to make it a multi kit.
Yeah, of course. And I think that really makes it worse. But even the Crypt Horrors on their own aren't the best looking. Um, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of like the ghouls and the Crypt Horrors and all this bestial stuff that was coming out at this time. Um, yeah, it doesn't work for me. I would say this is like an E or a D.
This is an E for me. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
E.
is not good.
Another very good single character, the White King.
Oh yeah, this is an A for
Yeah,
me.
this
This
is
guy
a
was fantastic.
yeah. I think this is the best hero kit. Maybe the Necromancer. No, I think this is just way cooler. That's such a iconic, like everything about this is so good. um, yeah, we've got what else next? Actually, they came out with a few sets I forgot about when I was making this tier list. until really recently. So we've got
Oh yeah, like the tree, the
Tree
tree
Man.
man, and yeah,
Alathorn was apparently this was a named character. I think was a single model. I don't even remember ever seeing this, and I think it
yeah. I
was
don't remember that at all.
he just looks like a generic like wood elf lord, I guess. Like he doesn't look
Sure.
terrible. I would say C.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I don't know anything
Again,
about.
like I come back to like the White King's a great example. Why wouldn't you just give me like two weapon and two head options for it? Like make it. You don't even have to like make it totally different poses. Like,
It's true.
but this is another example where it's like just give me a couple of different weapons.
Yep.
That's all I need, and it would be so easy for you to do that with a like a plastic character set. Anyway,
Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
nope.
We've got the Eternal Guard, and it made a different set. I forget the Wayward Stalkers or Rangers or something else. I believe. I
Yeah, because there was the. You're right. I think this was a multi-set, wasn't it? Where you had the Eternal Guard in one, and then you could also make them the like Rangers, the two-handed axe guys.
Yeah, that's it. Deep Wood Rangers. Whatever.
Oh, listen, I don't know the Games Workshop term anymore. Yeah, it would be yeah, Eternal Guard and yeah, something Rangers.
Yeah. Either way, I thought the Rangers hoods. I used their hoods a lot. For
Yep.
conversions and bits and stuff like that. Outside of that, I don't think this kit's great, and I think they're really chunky if I remember correctly.
They're chunky, yeah, they're thick boys. Yeah, this is like a C for me.
Yeah, I'm okay. Oh, wrong model. Whoopsies. C. All right. And then we've got the Sisters of the Thorn, and then the other riders. The horse. I think this changes from deers to horses, if I remember correctly, or am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. That is what it is. It's
I
the Wild Riders slash Sisters of the Thorn.
um, I thought the deer were cool as a mount and made sense for wood elves and stuff. So I thought that,
Yep.
and they're pretty dynamic looking, and for a small unit size, I think it makes sense because I don't think you would take a lot of them. Um,
No, usually because it was like the summoning unit, right? Like they could cast magic spells, so you would run around
yeah.
and do silly stuff with them.
So I think this probably, I would say this is like a C or a B.
Yeah, called a B.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with this one. And I'm just remembering now, I also forgot the Dark Elf Doomfire Warlocks. Was that a part of the Dark Rider kit, or was that separate?
That is, yep, that is exactly right. I misspoke earlier. You could make them into the Doomfire Warlocks.
All right. Well, that kit sucks, so I don't care.
Just
The Doomfire Warlocks look
pretend it
stupid.
doesn't exist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're dumb. I don't care. Tree Man, and I think it made dirt. No, it didn't make dirt through, did it?
It did. It made
Okay.
Durthrough. You had like the sword option, the named character one.
And this
Yeah, this was
came.
good. It had some cool options in it. I don't know. It doesn't look really like a tree to me. Like that's maybe the kind of the same criticism I have of the dryads,
Yeah.
where obviously they just wanted to make this look like a giant dryad.
Yeah.
So
I,
um,
I think it's okay.
I don't know.
I got nothing.
Yeah, it kind of gave me Gundam vibes. I think is maybe the thing that I didn't like about it. That
Looking at
again,
just the
leaning
thumbnail,
more into
I can see that a lot now. Actually, you're right. It is
yeah,
kind of actiony, less like a miniature and more just like an action model, I guess. If you,
that is a general criticism I have of End Times as well. This wasn't End Times, I don't think, but like that was they started trending that direction of making like
well,
cool action hero poses.
I think this was the last model made for fantasy actually, because the Wood Elf book came out last. That was the last model
Mm,
for 8th edition. I think that was literally like 2 months out of Age of Sigmar, if I remember
well,
correctly. So yeah, I think this was literally the last model they came out with for Age of. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was the last model. Um,
well,
and that says something, I
yeah. This is
guess. I don't know. I guess this is like a
this
D.
is a C or D.
Ah, you convinced me it's a D just because it is very Gundamy. I guess is the right word to call it.
It's just again like for me, it used to always be that the wood elves, like dryads, were not animated wood; they were spirits, right? They were like
Hmm.
so that had one design arc to it. You had the tree kin and the tree men, which were animated wood that had spirits inside of them.
Right.
And so this is a departure design wise, where this is just a giant dryad, whereas it should have been like a reanimated tree.
Yep.
So anyway,
Yeah, you could have done some cool things with a tree that's like I don't know, has spirits and stuff coming out of it or something, a creepy
Yeah,
face.
sure, being held together by all kinds of like magical bindings and stuff like that. Sure.
Yeah. Okay, and then we've got Wizards of Chaos, or Warriors of Chaos, not Wizards of Chaos. There will be wizards here though. And there's some end times ones here, and I think the Glotkin is it's a centerpiece model, but like uh, there's nothing really going on with the big pose of it. It's just kind of standing there.
It's just a big blob. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is like the opposite of like a Bone Ripper model. I thought that they did it very successfully. This one is less good.
yeah. I think this is like a D or an E, personally.
Yeah, I was gonna say E. I really didn't
Yeah,
like this thing.
it's very forgetful too.
Sure, especially considering that it was like $150 model or whatever it was when it
Yeah,
came out. Like it was expensive even by Games Workshop standards at the time. It
yeah.
was because it was just massive, just a giant hunk of plastic.
Okay. Next up, we've got the Blight Kings. Never end times one. I think this one is good though. A lot of different bits to it. Fits the Nurgle theme pretty well. The armor looks good.
Hmm.
Personally, I would say this is like a B or an A for me. What do you
Yeah, I was
think?
gonna say B, but yeah, I would be totally fine with A. Yeah, this is cool. Again, leaning into more historical armor designs in terms of like the plate that's in there, and then they putrefied it quite well. I think these look good.
Yeah, I think they did a good job with this one. All right. Next up, we've got the Chaos Knights. And I think these aren't great personally. Uh,
No, I've built and paint a lot of these. They're really chunky, is what it comes. Even for Chaos Knights, listen, I know that it's chaos and they're supposed to be bulky, but there is it's just some proportion issues with them. Even that like some bits are like kind of thin, like some of the arms are thin, but the shoulder pads are like massively oversized on
yeah.
the knights. So, and then some of the ensorcelled weapons don't look especially convincing.
Oh, and
And the metal sculpts they were replacing were really good.
yeah, have fun painting like all that trim. By the way, if you wanted a different
Oh
color
yeah,
from the rest of
God.
it, like that's one problem I have of this era, especially is like where things aren't flat anymore. They all have to have trim or detail on them that you have to paint. Like sometimes I want to freehand something or to have it
Yeah.
a similar color. Like yeah, no, do not like that. I'd say this is like a D or an E.
Yeah, this is like a D or an E for me. This I didn't enjoy these guys.
Like they've got some good bits that are nice. I guess that's like the only. This is an E. I think. Like it's for me, it's just their bits that look really good. They don't look
Yeah,
good regimented, also, in my opinion.
yeah.
And then we've got the chariot, and this made like a weird beast chariot, and then one with two horses, I believe.
Oh yeah. This is
Uh,
the one that's shaped like a giant plow, right?
yeah, it is. It feels so Mad Max. It just doesn't work with the rest of the
It
model.
is. I mean, all of it's very silly. Yeah.
Uh,
Again, like the Dark Elf Chariot, it's just leaning into high concept designs where you didn't have to. All you needed was just a big, bulky chariot, right? Like,
yeah,
just give me a plastic version of the old metal chariot.
pretty much. Yeah. This is D or
Yeah,
E,
D.
E, E, E.
Sure, throw it in there.
If it's gonna be the same complaints with the Dark Elves, it's got to be the same tier, I think.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Uh, and then we've got Wizards of Chaos Chimera slash Manticore. Not good.
No.
uh,
Actually, this is another instance where not only was the pose kind of wonky, but like if you actually look at the details on this model, it wasn't very well done.
no, it's
Like
not.
sculpting's not good.
Uh, I don't know. This is probably an E as well.
I was even gonna say F, so we'll compromise on E. Yeah, I really didn't like this model.
Uh, See, the thing is, like, I don't think the idea of a Chimera Manticore are that bad. It's like,
You're right. It's not a problem with the design. It's not a concept issue. It is a just sculpting and execution issue.
yeah. Um, Dragon Ogres. I I never liked Dragon Ogres personally. And I think these are a slight downgrade from the metal ones also.
I
Um,
didn't hate these, to be honest with you. I never really cared about Dragon Ogres as a concept either. This is another instance where like I'm biased against them because again in the Ninth Age they're very popular.
oh, they're
So
popular in
like,
Old World as well.
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, just yeah, Old World like yeah, it's anything that's not infantry, right? Is gonna be popular. So
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. C for these. I think you're probably leaning lower, aren't you?
Yeah, I was thinking D. There's not much to say about them really, and also it's not like they're a fun model to paint either. Like it's
Sure.
just like skin and like some scales. It's basically like a lizard man in a sense, where it's just like
Mm,
very monocolored. If they
sure, I
were,
see that.
you know what? If they had like armor, maybe I would like them more. Like if they were more armored up, like Chaos Warriors, maybe I could
Sure.
see an argument for that. Um, and this kit was a really weird kit because it didn't last long actually. The Forsaken. Um, they like discontinued it pretty early, I remember.
Hmm. I really don't remember this one either, to be honest with you.
Imagine Where's the Chaos with like tentacles and weird bits and stuff like that. And in concept, I really liked the idea, but the models did not look good,
Hmm.
which was a shame. They were a little too goofy and cartoonish almost, which
Sure,
is
but that's generally what happens when Games Workshop tries to veer into like Chaos Spawn adjacent kind of stuff.
yeah, that's a shame. Um, I would say this is probably like a D or an E on probably E. I like the idea of it,
Hmm.
but it's just not there. And one model I just forgot about, and you reminded me, was the Chaos Spawn. Um,
Oh yeah,
I forgot about that one, and I would say that's probably like a C or a B. Actually, I think there's a
yeah.
lot of cool
It's
bits.
okay.
They do look, even with all the different bits though, they do look kind of like the same model. Like you can see the
Because
same.
really what it was is like the same blob of a body and then you just glue on different like tentacle arms, right? Like that was kind of the only modularity you had. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's probably like a C for me too.
yeah, C makes sense. It's just mostly the bits are really cool and useful. So, all right, and we've got End Times again. Gut Rot Spume. He's got like a bunch of tentacles coming out of him. Um,
Mm.
yeah, he's pretty meh. Um,
This is like a D for me. This is
yeah, I'm with
not
you on
top
that.
tier character design.
No, especially for like an End Times thing, especially you would expect a bit more, and it
Yeah.
doesn't deliver. And then we've got Where's the Chaos Hellstriders? So these are the, I guess it's Marauders on top of the Demon Hellstriders.
Yeah, I like these even less than the Demon
Yeah,
Riders.
exactly. Yeah, this
This
is
is
an
like these
E.
big roided out dudes. Yeah, these are not good.
No.
Just conceptually, these are bad.
Is this an F?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, they're pretty bad because
Yeah.
again, we talk about that not only is the execution poor, but like who thought this was a good idea, right?
Yeah.
Like,
All right. And then for End Times, we've got Where's the Chaos Maggot Lord. This made like three different versions. All of them looked the same basically, but had a different rider basically.
hmm, I
um,
don't again, I don't remember this. End times are such a blur for me too. I guess
this
I really don't
model,
remember this one either.
it's so forgettable. I don't think there's like much wrong with it, but I think it's probably an E, just like the Glotkin, where there's
Yeah.
not. It's just a big Nurgle blob with no real character or pose. Um, okay, we've got Marauder Horseman. I think this was an improvement actually from the.
Yeah, these ones are decent. Again, the horses were kind of big, if I remember right.
Yep.
But it kind of works for Marauders. So these are
Yeah,
like a maybe a B.
I'm with B on that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Some good bits too that you could use for your dismounted Marauders as well to make them a little bit
Right,
different too,
right.
and make them look better. And we've got the Nurgle Lord, and this is just a better like version of that End Times one, I think. Like,
Mm.
there's not much going on here, but he's cool, and he's
Yeah,
gross.
this is one where I feel like every pro painting YouTube channel
Yeah,
has done a take on this one. You know, because
exactly.
it's kind of an iconic figure. Yeah, this is good. I like this one. This is an A or a B for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say B, just because I think maybe his pose isn't the best. Um,
Yep,
but he's got an intimidation factor to him still. He's pretty good.
yep.
And then we've got this Skull Crushers. Personally, I think these guys are cooler versions of the Bloodletter ones.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Sure, just with Chaos Knights up on top.
yeah. Uh, Looks good. It fits Corn well. A lot of detail. Um, yeah, no, this is good. This is like I would say this is like a B for me.
Yeah, I was even gonna say A. I think they're pretty successful, but
Yeah, I'm down with A actually. Like you get so many extra bits with this kit too that you put them on Warriors of
mm,
Chaos and you've got an excellent themed like Corn army right there. So
yeah.
yeah. And this model is so forget. There's two more models here that are very forgetful. This one, the Slaughter Brute, and the Mutilith Vortex.
Oh Jesus.
Like,
Yeah, this is not good.
no, I
This is F. Yeah.
yeah, like
Holy hell. Yeah.
nothing really good with this design going on. Yeah, not much else to say. The Sorcerer, another good singular hero, I think.
Yeah, good and great conversion fodder too. I've seen lots
Yeah,
of neat conversions out of this guy.
yeah, for sure. I would say A.
Yeah, he's up there. Up there with the Dark Elf Sorceress, I think.
Yeah, I agreed. And we've got I didn't even realize this was a kit until I looked through the catalogs and everything. The Zinch Lord. He's just like a
This is
plastic.
the one that's like hunched down, looking kind of
Yeah, yeah,
confused,
he
right?
is. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. C or a D. Like
Uh,
it's
I'd say C. I don't think there's anything too wrong with him. He's just
no.
a little boring and obviously forgetful. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird pose.
And
Wow,
then
last one.
last one is War Shrine. Um, a lot of neat things going on, but I think the execution is bad.
Yeah, I don't like the things that are carrying it, right? Like the weird, like not ogres, but like the monster things that are
Yeah,
carrying it.
yeah. I don't know what exactly they're supposed to be. Um, I like the idea, like there should be some sort of shrine that chaos worships and stuff, and some sacrificial pit. It makes sense. It's just, and I don't mind the platform. It's just those, the 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 mounts, I guess, are just not great.
It would have been cooler if it was like, like 8 or 10 marauders just holding it up,
Oh
like
yeah,
underneath. Like that would have been neat.
some sort of like longship kind of idea would have been kind of cool leading to
That
that.
would have been really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been great.
I would say this is like a D. I don't think this is like,
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's
and like
kind of meh.
I used it for a lot of bits. Like there's some good conversion stuff you could make out of it. So yeah, but that's everything. I don't
Wow.
think this time we're gonna try and rank everything from best to worst. That's
No,
gonna
this is a
take it.
lot of kids do. This is we're right just at like the 3 hour mark, if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken.
yeah, we
So
are. But yeah, thanks for doing this again.
yeah, thanks for having me back.
If we were to do another tier list, what would you want to do?
I think the people would need to know about Age of Sigmar probably,
Oh, Age of Sigmar. Oh
but
boy. Oh, do we want to do Age of Sigmar? Or
I don't. Well, actually, it would be a fun take. I really don't like most of Age of Sigmar designs, but we could do that. We could do even like some classic 40K stuff. I don't know if you or Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth
ooh,
Strategy Battle Games has a lot of plastics we could look at.
yeah. There's a lot of
So
good
there's
kits there in those. Yeah, I'll probably put it to a vote, see what comments say. So yeah, you guys at home, thanks for watching this for this long. If you did, I'm sure if you're painting and stuff, this was a nice video to watch. So yeah, and make sure to subscribe to Dan at We Wargame, and thanks again for coming on and doing this.
thanks again for having me, man.
All right, guys, take care.